Well, hey, thank you for being here with me today. I am so excited for the video that you are about to see because I get to also sit and watch something, and that's just much of a treat for me as it is for you. And I'm going to tell you all about what we're watching in just a second, but first, a couple of housekeeping things. Number one, this video that I'm making for you right now is going to take me literally hours to finish filming, so the lighting in here is probably going to shift around a good bit throughout the day, and we're all just going to be super chill and normal about that happening. Number two, I have seen a decent amount of growth happening in the last couple weeks, and I'm very excited about that, and if you have joined in on the journey, I want to thank you so much for being here, and if you haven't and you would like to, this is the time where I say, please subscribe. I'm going to be doing a lot more stuff like this. I have always maintained that there is nothing on this earth quite like musical theater. I love it. It's special. It's near and dear to me. And I hope that one day, maybe soon, I will be able to jump back into it and actually have a chance to perform in a musical again. It's been far too long. Today we are going to watch a crossover between musical theater and reality television, and that is Legally Blonde, The Search for Elle Woods. If you don't know, in the 2000s, the movie Legally Blonde, starring Reese Witherspoon, was adapted into a Broadway musical starring Laura Bell Bundy and Christian Borle. It is a great show, it is a very fun show, and the songs in it are fantastic. But when it was time for Laura Bell Bundy, who played Elle, to leave the show, instead of just doing a regular casting call or letting her understudy take over the role full-time, MTV decided they would step in and produce a reality competition show to find the person who would replace Laura Bell Bundy as the star of Legally Blonde on Broadway in New York City. Now, if you watched this show and thought you were watching a genuine, authentic peek behind the curtain into what an audition process is like for a musical, not even close. The first episode, pretty much, yeah, it's following a standard audition callback format. After that, we're off the rails and we're doing very typical 2000s reality TV competition bullshit where there's these random challenges that don't really have anything to do with anything. Speaking of the first episode, aka the most normal this whole thing will ever be, let's just jump right into it there. We're starting with 50 contestants. We will quickly be whittling that down to 15, and then by the end of the episode, we will be left with just 10 contestants to go through the last 7 episodes with. Some people that you need to know the names of that you will be seeing multiple times throughout this show are Jerry Mitchell, who was the director and choreographer of the show. Haley Duff is acting as a mentor host type situation in this. It's honestly a little strange. It really feels like she's being held at gunpoint for a decent amount of it. Bernard Telsey is a very famous casting director in New York City. He casts a lot of the big musicals. He is the main casting director on the panel of judges. Also on the panel of judges is Heather Hash. She was one of the librettists, which means she wrote the actual script for the musical and the movie. And then Paul Cannon, I believe is how you pronounce his last name. I'm so sorry, Paul, if that's incorrect. He is one of the performers, and I think it's the ensemble of Legally Blonde at the time, and they're using him to have like a performer's perspective on the judging panel. Wait, I'm performing in Nashville on September 6th. If you want to get some more information, or if you live in the area and want to buy a ticket, there is a link in the description below. So with that whole spiel out of the way, let's just get started with the first episode.
I'm Haley Duff.
Okay, here is Haley Duff. She is, as I said, our host on this wonderful journey we're about to go on. In this pre-recorded bit right here, she seems very seamless in the way that she speaks. She is clipped together and ADR'd to shit throughout the rest of the show. I have no room to talk. I put so many jump cuts in my video, you'd think we're on a fucking trampoline. There's one for you right there just to prove my point.
Being in a Broadway show was the hardest thing that I've ever done.
She was on Broadway in Hairspray. I do not know if she played Amber or Tracy's best friend, whose name I am completely blanking on right now. Oh my god. Penny? Is it Penny? It starts with a P. The character Ariana Grande played in the Hairspray Live thing. Is it Penny? I think she played Amber. That's my guess. If I had to choose, I think she probably played Amber, who is like the mean girl. Not that I think Haley Duff's a mean girl, but that just seems to fit her type more. We're going to talk more about types and such as this goes on because it plays a very big part into who they end up choosing for this show. And also in like every other audition you'll ever do in your life if you're a performer. It's a lot of instant knee-jerk judgments that get you somewhere or absolutely nowhere.
Now, the best 50 girls from across the nation have converged on New York City.
So it starts off with all 50 of the girls on stage together, which seems like a way too many people to start making cuts over, but he's getting up close and near them, so I guess it's fine. This is a typical cattle call thing. I've never done a huge audition like this in New York or anything. I don't want it to sound like I'm trying to say that I have. I certainly have not.
My parents met doing the original production of Grease on Broadway. My father won 4 Tony Awards.
Okay, the person that's talking right now, her name is Emma. I'm going to do an introduction to all the top 10 whenever we get there. But I wanted to talk about this specific comment because I watched this when I was in high school. It's been on YouTube for years and years for free. I forgot how many of these girls have like connections to people on Broadway. And to that, I'm like, I think you don't need the show. I think you could just talk to your dad. But maybe nepotism wasn't as rampant in the 2000s as it is now. I don't believe that as it's coming out of my mouth, but I'm going to say it anyway. I don't know. I can't think of another reason why this girl who's like, my dad has 4 Tony Awards, needs to sign up for the MTV reality show. It also does make me think, though, about how it is kind of wonderful how you have all of these kids in here. This girl's 26. We're the same age. But you have all these young women in here, and some of them come from like more, I guess you would say, privileged as far as like the world of musical theater positions, and some of them are from incredibly small towns, like Bailey, who's from where I'm from. We're both from the same place. She's from Anderson, South Carolina. I'm basically from Anderson, South Carolina. I'm from like 20 minutes away. My grandparents lived in Anderson. I went to college in Anderson. Don't go to that school. It's not good. Don't go to it. But it's kind of cool to think about the fact that this show did kind of put those two people on an even playing field. Because, let's be real here, and I am 1,000,000,000% speaking from experience, there are a lot more opportunities for you performance-wise in New York, New York, than Anderson, South Carolina. It's easier to be like big fish, small pond in upstate South Carolina, but it is not easy to find a path to success to get you out of South Carolina when you're in South Carolina unless you pack up your whole life and move it. My apartment in Atlanta is treating me well, by the way, now that the bugs and mold are gone.
You're going to be working with Broadway vocal coach Seth Rudetsky. Seth?
Hi. What up, girls?
All right, there's Seth Rudetsky. I'm sure if you're a theater kid, you recognize him.
Okay, I'm gonna teach you the end of Act 1 that's called So Much Better.
So the musical and the movie follow the exact same plot beats. So the song So Much Better takes place at the point of the movie where Elle realizes that she is going to be able to be one of Callahan's interns or whatever they're called. I'm saying interns, I don't remember. And she's deciding that she's not really just there for Warner. She might be there for herself. So the song is called So Much Better because she is so much better than before.
On a scale from 1 to 10, I would say that my singing abilities are a 10.
Rachel is someone who I would say does not fall into that pitfall of a performer talking a big talk. She is legitimately, from these 15 girls, in my opinion, the best singer of all of them. Sometimes they'll do these talking heads and it's a girl being like, I'm the most brilliant, amazing singer that's ever breathed on God's green earth. And then I'm like, okay, they're talented. When I hear them sing, I'm like, oh, she's good. But I'm kind of just like, oh, she's good. You know, does that make sense?
I am so much better.
1, 2.
Whoever had to edit the audio for this show, I'm so sorry. Because I know that that seems like such a measured, regular level of volume to you and I sitting here just watching this show. But I know hearing that in playback, blowing their eardrums out. 15 girls belting So Much Better. I can't even imagine the decibel that would reach. I think someone might mistake that as an earthquake 2 states away.
Learning some of the dance moves quickly was the hardest part for me in preparing for my Broadway debut.
Okay. Here's where I'll make my confession. I am not a dancer. That is a huge, huge weakness for me. I don't even like try to hide it or front with it or cover it up at this point. It's just not. I never learned how. There's something in my brain that short circuits when I go into a dance call and it just completely leaves my brain. I think it's just because I start panicking. Now, recently I had to go to audition for Company, Sondheim show, which historically those aren't very dance heavy. Who this that director said, I'm doing a dance heavy production of Company. Oh, so you hate my guts then?
So this is pretty much just second nature to me.
I think Cassie S looks like Casey Anthony a little bit. Not a slight or dig against Cassie S at all, but when I look at her, I think of Casey Anthony. She didn't ask to be born looking like Casey Anthony, so it's not her fault. It's not anybody's fault. It is just the connection my brain makes. I'm sorry that my brain connects you to someone who didn't kill their child.
6, 7, 8, 1 and 2 and 4.
Just looking at that is making me hivey. Honestly, God, I'm stressed looking at that. It's not for me.
I'm from a small town. I've never been to New York before. I've never even rode on a plane.
That's Bailey. She's the one from Anderson. You can tell by her accent. I think she's wonderful and so cute. And I'm so glad that she's on this show. And I love watching people from South Carolina be able to actually like succeed and do things. I think that that's great because you don't, especially like in show business, you don't see it a lot. Stephen Colbert. Everyone's like really into Stephen Colbert right now, as they should be. Stephen Colbert's from South Carolina. I'm saying that to you right now like this because we could use the good PR. So I want you to know that Stephen Colbert is from South Carolina. Thank you.
So 1 and 2.
Can you do the turn thingy, new thing slowly?
I am. 2, 3 and.
Think that in an audition, the tension is so high that little things like that start to come off as very snippy. And so then she sounds snippy, but I don't think she's trying to be. So then the associate choreographer sounds even more snippy back. And then we're just in a thing where a bunch of performers are now doing their performer thing. And everyone's a little on edge and being a little passive aggressive. This is so common in these spaces.
This is like a whole huge process.
Selena being on the show is interesting because I feel like if you look at this long line of girls, she is the one that fits the least in the type of Elle Woods. So I do like that she's here and that she's being given a chance and that she's made it even into the top 15. I will go ahead and spoil it for you. She does make it into the top 10. So to see her kind of do an even bigger transformation than the rest of them have to is honestly a testament to her talent because she has to change so much to be believable as Elle Woods, and the other girls don't have to change as much. And also, I just think she's really cool, and I like her personality.
Now you're going to meet the judges that will be deciding your fate through this competition.
Here is where we officially meet the judges that I was telling you about earlier, so let me just put some names to some faces for you. So the first guy, that's going to be Bernie Telsey, and Heather Hawk, one of the librettists. I think she might be the only librettist. I don't know why I keep saying one of the librettists for the show. And there's our actor friend, Paul. He's probably the most easygoing on everyone on this panel. Rightfully so. He's kind of got a little bit less riding on how this ends. He's employed either way.
The judges are looking for someone who can sing, act, and dance the role. But they're also looking for someone that has that special something that makes a great Elle Woods.
And that's what gets you killed in 90% of auditions you go to. There's this like innate thing that exists. Most of the time, you might not have it because you don't know what it is. And honestly, quite frankly, most of the times, like directors or casting people don't know what it is either until someone has it and they're like, oh, that's that thing that I wanted this to be. That person's also very talented and very deserving, but there's going to be something about them that's just like,
That I'm qualified to be one.
Mary is also from South Carolina. She's from Rock Hill, though, so that's not as close to me, so I care a little bit less. But that's 2 girls from South Carolina in this top 15. I thought that was very interesting. I definitely didn't remember there were 2 of them. And I think it's great that they're here.
I'm leaving it in your capable hands.
You're gonna dance in groups of 5 for the judges.
So how they do this first initial actual audition is starting with a dance call. I'm shivering thinking about it. The girls are broken up into groups of 5, and they're doing them from the judges so that they can evaluate them from there. I hate when an audition starts with a dance call because I know that I am shit out of luck immediately because that is the first perception they have of me and not the one of me singing, which is the perception I would rather they have of me. Here's why. Because if I do a dance call first, I'm going to be really fucking bad at it. And then the thing they have in their head of me is that, oh, I'm really fucking bad at dancing. And if I do the singing first, then they can be like, oh, she's really fucking good at singing, but she can't dance at all. That coming first is important to me. Almost never happens, though.
I'm a freshman at Western Michigan University in the musical theater performance program.
That's Lauren. I don't remember all of the inner workings of this show, but I do remember her being my favorite, I think, when I watched this when I was in high school. I don't really know why at this point. Like, I haven't seen anything that kind of quantifies that for me, but I remember thinking she was my favorite.
This being a small town girl into the big city.
And then that's Rhiannon. I think she seems very sweet. I like her a lot. She seems like a very sweet girl. And I like her kind of like, I don't know. They call her goofy when they're talking about her dancing, which is a little true just facial expression wise, but I think it works. I liked it personally.
And I have to think so much about what the next dance step is. And I know my facials are always just so intense.
That one's me. That one's me. That one's me. And I know this about myself. And she knows that about herself. So at least we're both self-aware and move accordingly.
I'm certainly the rocker of the group. I have a rock band. They used to call me Trouble in high school. I made out with everyone. Everyone.
Five girls you didn't like dance are going to be the ones who sing better.
Yeah. That is always the case. And I think that's why you see a lot of modern musical theater kind of going away from being dance heavy, especially for like your lead performers, because things are written in a way that is making them more and more difficult to sing. So it's so important that you have a very strong vocalist in leading roles now. I mean, it always was that way, but the way I think that sometimes musical theater songs are deceptively simple because someone's just like up there doing that. But you don't understand, those songs are so high. And it was already becoming a thing like as time progressed where it seemed like dance was becoming a little bit less into it. You know, like you have Jeremy Jordan and Newsies, every single person in that show was like jumping around and sliding on newspapers, and he's like, oh, I hear dance number starting. I'm going to go walk to the back and do this now. That's not Jeremy Jordan hate. I love Jeremy Jordan. But he is a leading man in musical theater, so he can get away with that. You cannot get away with that if you're a girl. There's too many of us. I know that being in that room is probably akin to being 2 inches away from a jet engine. Not because they sound bad, but I just know it's doing that thing when you hear something really loud where your ears start to like bend the pitch up and down because it's trying to compensate. I know that's what it sounded like in there. There's this thing that I like to call actor personality, that a certain kind of actor has. I don't think I have it. I have friends that have it, and when I said I don't have actor personality, they looked at me and said there's no such thing as actor personality. And it's always a bitch who has actor personality who says there's no such thing as actor personality. But I think actor personality is what allows you to belt at the top of your lungs in a dressing room that has 14 other people in it. So those like 3 or 4 girls are the people that I'm going to say have actor personality in this show so far. As a preliminary one, I don't know exactly who is singing anyway, but I will let you know if there is a person who I think has the most quintessential actor personality of all 10 of these girls by the time we're done. Okay, they're starting their individual auditions. It sounds like it's about a 16-bar cut. Essentially what that is, if you don't understand what the hell I'm talking about, I'm going to try to do that as little as possible, but I cannot guarantee it. A 16-bar cut is like 16 measures of a song. In sheet music, that's kind of like just those little divider things. It really means it's just like a minute-ish of a song and you pick the cut from it you want to do. If it's an audition like this, they're going to tell you what to sing. But in a lot of like initial auditions, when you go in, you're going to be choosing what you want to sing, and you're going to have a book with a bunch of different choices in it. That way, if they want to hear you sing something else, they can ask you to sing something else. So the things in your book should be things that you feel comfortable with, that you could nail instantly, no matter what. My favorite song in my book is How Did We Come to This from The Wild Party. There's a video of me singing it on my Instagram. You should go follow me and look at it, and then you can continue to silently judge me for the rest of our lives. That could be fun.
And we will see who walks the walk.
I'm nervous that she's tightening. My prediction is this will be a shaky ending based on her build up to it. I don't think she's prepared her voice enough for it and set herself up for success, which is not honestly a dig on her talent at all. It happens to everyone, no matter how much you do it. Every so often, you're going to really fuck yourself up on accident and not put things where they need to be internally to make something come out correctly, especially when you're belting, which is what I am decent at doing, which is why I feel like I can comment on this. If you accidentally take like too shallow of a breath once, good fucking luck. Okay, let me tell you what happened there. She has a wonderful voice. She's extremely talented. That hurt my throat hearing it because she was tightening really bad. Which I think you would think that it makes sense to be like, okay, I'm about to do something really high. Let me get ready for it. And you think about how if you were going to jump really high in the air, you would like crouch down and get ready to like launch yourself forward. Exact opposite is true in this realm. You need to be like, okay, let me get ready. And like relax everything as much as possible. And it always is going to happen because you're nervous, you're in front of people, you're already super tense. So it's like genuinely a conscious thing where you have to be like, relax every single muscle in your throat right now, immediately before you do this. And also you have to take enough breath. And I didn't hear her take a breath. So that's why I could tell before it started that it was gonna, and it was still good, but it felt very tight, and it made my throat hurt hearing it.
When they unlock the door, then before.
I think that last held out note was the strongest part for her, and I can tell you exactly why. You can tell that she's placing it more forward, like, this is crazy. You can tell that she's placing it a lot more forward, which is helping her. You can tell just by the placement of her nose and, like, the position of her mouth, you can tell that she's, like, pushing it up and out in a way right here, and that helps because it doesn't take as much air, and it takes a lot of the stress off of your vocal cords. So when you're holding something for that long, it's a lot easier to do that way. If you're trying to do that whole thing fully, like in your chest voice, that's when it's going to do that thing where it starts to squeeze on your throat really bad. I know that none of what I just said makes sense to like most people, and I'm so sorry about it. But what you need to know is that that was very good, but I could tell that she was waiting for the whole song for it to get to that point. But also they only had this sheet music for like an hour, so you can't really expect it to get to like performance level at an audition like that where they're handing you sheet. I mean, but you knew what you were signing up for, so this is kind of different than like a regular audition, I guess.
You're a little sexy when you do this.
Yeah, I also did not get that at all. I don't really know what he's talking about. Maybe like she kind of kept bending her legs. I don't know if that, no, Laura Bell Bundy does that too. I don't know why he said it was sexy. It didn't read that way to me. I guess she could probably play up the more effervescent quality of it, and that might help with that. Who just uses effervescent off the fucking cuff like that? Me.
Hi, my name is Bailey.
Oh, I love her accent. I find people that are in this industry that don't get rid of their accents very admirable. I personally beat mine out of me with a hammer while I was in middle school or high school, not sure which one. As I've gotten older, I've allowed it to kind of come back into my vocabulary, and I also can flip it all the way on at the drop of a hat. I think the older I get and the more removed I get from like the strict, rigid things they tell you in like educational theater settings, the more I kind of wish that I had that, because it can be a weakness, but there are definitely instances in which it can be a strength. And I guess that the best thing about that for me is that I can turn it on and off.
I am so much better. I am so much better than before.
That was also very good. There's a part of that song that's really difficult, and I feel like it takes a bit to master. I'm not saying I could do it. I'm just speaking objectively. That huge leap from like better, like that thing, is really hard. That is probably almost an octave. That's crazy to like flip up and down from 3 times and go from a mix back into like a lower register. That's really hard. So it probably does sound like none of these girls are doing that part fantastically, but I think they're not really looking for that part right now because they're aware that that is something that is teachable. Like, yes, the ending note that's high and sustained is very difficult, but that's something that you can have to be able to do. That thing that happens during the betters is so technical and like a such a specific shift that I think they're not looking for that in this initial audition.
I'm Mary.
Hi, Mary. How are you?
Doing well, thanks.
Whenever you're ready.
And our second South Carolina girl is next, Mary from Rock Hill. The more I listen to Bailey talk throughout this show, the more I'm going to sound like this. It's going to come out of me. I already know it. Lord.
So much better than before.
Okay. I like what she was doing where she was like crescendoing into it at the end, making it louder as it went on. That was an interesting choice. I can see them respecting that if it had went the way she intended it to, which sometimes it just happens and you can't help it. I will also say though, I think she has a much more almost legit style voice, so it's not really a belt. That's really difficult for me to explain the difference to off the top of my head. Please insert me explaining this better right here if possible. So this kind of feels like one of those things where you bring someone back in for a callback and you never really intended on casting them, but you do it anyway. And my thought towards that is, why would you get that person's hopes up? Because I do not think her vocal type is made for the character of Elle Woods, so I don't think they ever would have cast her. Even if she didn't accidentally crack at the end, she had a much different kind of voice than the rest of these girls do. So I don't know if they were like, oh, let's throw in one off the wall pick just to see what happens. But they were never going to cast her, and I hate that, they got her hopes up for nothing, flew her out to New York, which that's fun. She, this is a once in a lifetime opportunity, so I'm sure she's still glad to have it. But I just feel like they maybe could have. I think for most people when they're doing auditions, like the farther along in the process you get a little more hope every time, which kind of makes that thing when you don't get it, especially if it's a part or a show or something that you want really, really badly. Once you go through multiple rounds, your hopes become higher, and that crash out that happens is terrible.
I always nail that note. It's always there.
And that tensing thing I was talking about earlier is probably why that happened. It's very natural to get tense when you get in front of a judging panel, whatever that is, whether that's like a review at a regular job or when you're doing an audition. You feel very tense and nervous, so that makes everything tighten up, and that's gonna cause things to go wrong sometimes, even if you're not intending them to. See, I'm the type of auditioner / performer where I black out while it's happening, and I kind of walk out and I'm like, I think that went well. I don't really remember it, but that's helpful to me because I overthink it, and I get in my head, And that's when I'll fuck up really bad, or I'll tighten my throat up so bad that it sounds like I'm screeching, screaming out a high note. At that point, they stop showing us the auditions individually, and they do like a supercut of 6 or 7 of the girls who I guess are like the middle of the road, but they're really not all singing it together intercut. We aren't meant to care about them yet, I guess.
I'm not here to have my 15 minutes of fame making friends with other girls.
But Elle Woods would also take it to the top, but she'd also make friends with everyone along the way.
I mean, all the girls here are really nice. I'm not saying that they're not, and I'm not saying, because like coming into an environment like this, it'd be a lot harder if the girls weren't nice, but they're really easy to talk to.
I think they're trying to edit Lauren as a bit of a villain. I don't really know why. I also think that that's not what she meant by that. I think that she meant, like, I'm not here to be on a reality TV show. And then that got taken really far left field, and I don't really understand why. But this is like the first little inkling of drama that we're going to see in this episode that's mainly just auditions. So that's why I'm showing you it, because you're going to know that they're kind of setting her up. And also in like the supercut at the very beginning where they're talking about the whole series, she obviously has a script in her hand, but if you don't know that, then you don't know it. But she says, we all think you should lose weight. And it's very obvious she's reading a line, but they don't say that. They just put it in the script like she's saying it to someone else in the house, and I think that's diabolical. She's gonna run out of air. She's gonna run out of air. She's gonna run out of air. She's running out of air.
I am so much better than
Here, though, your acting's kind of here.
She is the best singer of all of these girls. I'm not even gonna shy away from saying that. I think they maybe would all agree, but I think that that is her strong suit. And she didn't do well in the dance call. He is correct. She didn't really do like theater acting has to be so much bigger, which is why it makes me tired. But it is also possible to do too much with theater acting. I promise. But she is a fantastic vocalist. That was such a clear belt at the end. It didn't sound like she was struggling for it at all or having to reach for it. It was just there. Like, she's breathing. It's like, yeah, you're just really high noted in this song. Absolutely. She is very talented. I found that choice incredibly odd. She does say later in this episode that she had just quit smoking and that was kind of making her breath support difficult, but the breath support was fine. It really was just the acting choice of like here's what I think was happening. I'm not in her head, so I could be wrong. I think that you're saying things to yourself while you're auditioning or while you're singing a song. You're like, oh, make sure that this is how you look. Make sure this. And I think she really wanted it to look like it was effortless. So she started like doing kind of like this is so easy. I'm just doing this thing that's so easy. But I think she wasn't trying to have that be communicated through those movements. But you kind of black out a little bit while you're auditioning, like I said. And so it kind of just happened to her. I think that's what happened. And it happens to the best of us. It really, frankly, does. But it was an odd choice and like the lean back. But, you know, can't win them all. You can't.
Who I loved, I don't know if I would cast them, but who I loved, Lauren.
All right. Emma was the last girl, so now the judges are doing that very typical competition show debrief where they're looking at a bunch of headshots of people and picking who they like and don't like, but they're making vague comments so you're not sure who it is. Except they do say that Emma looks like Reese Witherspoon. And you know exactly who that is because that bitch does look exactly like Reese Witherspoon and nobody else does. So you know who they're talking about when they say that.
Are you going to believe that this girl is valedictorian of Harvard Law?
I found that statement very odd, and I'm not trying to make an enemy of Heather Hawk by any means, but she wrote the whole libretto and then says, do you think she'd be valedictorian of Harvard? Is that not the whole point of the show, is that everyone underestimates her ability to be smart? And then you just listen, you can think what you want, but you did write the whole thing, and that was the whole point. The whole point was that she didn't. That puzzled me. That puzzled me when I heard her say it. That seemed to be the antithesis of the whole theme of the show. But I didn't write it, and she did. So maybe I'm missing something, but I really don't think that I am. I thought that was a very odd comment to make.
I'm so frustrated. It's dry. You've been dancing for how many hours?
It's also very evident that the producers are trying to make her seem like the complainer, which, you know, she very well could be, but we are seeing like very selected clips, and I haven't seen anyone else complain to this degree. I frankly don't believe that any of these other girls have had nothing negative to say through this entire process. You're there all day long. It is very grueling. And then after that very long deliberation, it is time to figure out who makes it into our top 10.
So we have decided on 10 of you, and your names are right here on the list.
Oh my god, they are really milking this process of choosing the top 10. I'm not putting any of this in the thing. I'm gonna make it graphic. Can I just have the list of names, please? Is this still happening? Oh my god, spit it out. Okay, Christ. Like 20 minutes of that episode was dedicated to just telling you one by one who was in the top 10. I'm gonna save you all of that and just give you a list right now. Here you go. So the girls that made it to the top 10 are Bailey, Natalie, Cassie O, Lindsay, Autumn, Selena, Rhiannon, Cassie S, Lauren, and Emma. The episode ends with all of the girls getting in a very 2000s Hummer limousine. Then they're taken to the Palace Theater, which is where Legally Blonde was produced, and they get the chance to meet Laura Bell Bundy, the star of Legally Blonde the musical. She gives them a little bit of encouragement, and then Jerry Mitchell, the director, is like, okay, we've just begun, and that's how the episode ends. And the next episode will be where the actual competition aspect of it starts, with all the little challenges and all of the drama. So I'm going to take a break, charge my phone a little bit, and then we will be going right into episode 2. I'm also going to drink Red Bull because you don't even know how many times I yawned while I was watching this. This episode is comparatively very dry and boring to the rest of them, but it also is the most accurate to what an audition actually is like. Everything else is gamified reality TV. But that also is the thing that's interesting and what you're here to see. What crazy shit are they going to make these girls do? How sleep deprived are they going to make them to the point to where they all hate each other? What's going to transpire? We'll see right after this break. All right, it is time for episode 2, the first real episode of the competition.
Some shine,
Much better.
What you just did is what I like to call a hit!
while others came up short.
Oh no.
Not pitting the two girls from South Carolina against each other right off the bat. I'm sure you didn't think about it, but I did. Did we really have to do them like that? There's like no one from South Carolina. Can we not have two people that managed to make it? Here's the good one, and here's the bad one. I don't think we needed to do all that. It's not like it's Stephen Colbert and Lindsey Graham.
Tonight, the girls put their acting skills to the test when they audition in front of the judges.
Episode 2 is the first acting episode. At the beginning, they do a challenge with an acting coach just to see who's the best one, and then the winner of that one gets a prize, aka an advantage, in the main challenge that's actually viewed by the panel of judges. This is the structure that every reality TV show from this time period follows, so I'm not going to reiterate that every single episode, but the beginning of each one will be a mini challenge, and then the real challenge will be after that. I didn't realize that this show had a little, like, cunty intro, so here's bits and pieces of that. I'm not going to show you the whole thing. Before we get into the challenges, though, the girls are taken to the house that they're staying at for the duration of the competition. It's very cute, honestly. And everyone seems so happy. It's a very wholesome moment in the show. And I'm going to show you just like a little tiny itty bitty piece of it.
My dad is a pastor back home in South Carolina.
Bailey. Her dad's a pastor. My uncle's a pastor. She's got a very different personality from me, but I really like her a lot, and she's making my southern accent come out. Ooh, call sheet! So the next morning after they move in, the girls are slipped a call sheet under the door like a serial killer, leaving them a ransom note. They're going to be doing an acting workshop that morning, and they were told to dress comfortably and arrive at 10:30 a.m.
What did it say on your call sheet this morning about what you were supposed to wear today? Does that include those heels?
I was really confused when I saw that because you can hear a bunch of heel clicking when they all enter the room.
Hi. Hi.
When there's no way all of that is coming from her feet unless she has the weirdest walking pattern in the world. And then I started paying attention to the shoes, and there are other girls in boots that have just as high of a heel as that. So I think that was an unnecessary comment, Mr. Associate Producer. I mean, it stands out more because she's wearing like open-toed heels and they're bright pink, but she's not the only one in heels. I don't know why we're picking on her. I'm being defensive of her because she's from South Carolina. I know that. I'm gonna keep doing it though.
Something else that you could wear?
Yeah, I brought shoes. Yeah,
Okay.
She brought a change of shoes because she's very prepared and very wonderful. I think she's wonderful. She's so positive and bright, and it doesn't feel fake or forced at all. And it seems like she genuinely likes every other girl that's in this competition and is excited for them, which I think is the correct attitude to have in this damn industry. And it's seldom seen.
Having an alibi isn't the only way to win this case.
Too much. I'm also going to try to not give like acting critiques or talent critiques. I feel like that's not my place and not my business. And what the fuck do I know? This might seem a little dry because of that, but I do want to just tell you about it all that happens.
Where are you from?
I'm from South Carolina.
Huh? And I can tell.
Emmett, I'm sorry.
I don't need you to be sorry. I need you to tell me the alibi.
I can't because I gave Brooke my word.
That was pretty good. I could hear it still on sorry, but can't and word, that was like perfect. That was great. I love that he said, "Where are you from?" And she said, "South Carolina." And he said, "Huh." I think that's the general reaction to all of us at this point. Huh. Okay. And then a side-eye look of distrust because who knows how we feel about things. The winner of the little acting workshop mini challenge gets to go spend time with Nikki Snelson, who is playing Brooke Wyndham, aka the person who is being accused of her husband's murder in Legally Blonde, which is going to be an advantage for them because their second challenge is involving a scene with the character of Brooke Wyndham. I also just want to take this moment to tell you about the crazy, amazing jump rope dance sequence in the song Whipped into Shape from this musical. It's a crazy number.
Today's standout performer was very effective at talking and listening. She also made an effective vocal transformation that was impressive.
Effective vocal transformation, you say, well, that sounds like it might be.
Congratulations. Bailey.
Woo! Yes. I'm rooting for her really hardcore. Just on principle alone. Also, I do know how the show ends, so.
You get to choose one other girl to go with you.
Oh God, it's going on.
Which is very obviously being used as a tactic to sow the seeds of discontent between all of the girls. It doesn't work, though, because she's just so damn nice and sweet that how could you ever be mad at her? And also, it's the first week, so they're not really close or anything yet, so she really is kind of just like picking a person and no one can get their fifis hurt about it.
In Legally Blonde on Broadway right now.
In the back of a Puma store, apparently? What an odd ad placement for a brand. Like, they couldn't be wearing, like, athletic gear that had Puma on it. They said, let's do this whole meeting in the back of the Puma store by the fitting rooms.
Good, how are you? I'm Bailey. Hi, Bailey, how are you? Nice to meet you.
Why is she on a bike? What the fuck? Oh, that is crazy. Who made that decision? And do they still have a job?
You guys don't get used to singing. You guys are all singing the hoo-hoo.
All right, so while Bailey and Lindsay are having a little fun time with Nikki Snelson, the rest of the girls are looking at the sheet music for the Delta Nu 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 song, and all getting really angry with each other, because that is bound to happen in these situations. And I love seeing it from the outside and not having to be in it for once.
Oh, I'll tell you guys. Yes. Can you play it one more time?
Well, there's too many cooks in the kitchen.
Yes, there are way too many cooks in the kitchen. I think that they should let her lead, though, because it seems like she might be the only one that can play piano. I don't know that for sure, but she is the one sitting at the piano with the sheet music in front of her, so you should probably listen to her because she seems to know what she's doing. But some people like to be right, even if they're not.
My time with Nikki was awesome, and I really hope it does help for the next audition because that bond has already been set and she already knows me.
The thing is that they're going to do a really shady twist in this first challenge, so actually none of that will matter because that's not what they're testing. But it's still cool to, like, meet the lady who's playing Brooke Wyndham. And I just really like Bailey a lot, so I'll take extra screen time of, like, her any second I can get it.
This is a competition, and we're all fighting for the same thing.
Sometimes the talking heads for this show are in this, like, nicely lit, produced, pretty, like, pink backdrop. It almost looks like it could be Elle Wood's bedroom. And then sometimes they look like they're a hostage video. I also find the talking heads in this show and many shows like it very funny because it's obvious that the producer said, explain whatever to me. And then they do that. But it's like the most asinine, redundant thing in the world because it's something that doesn't really need to be explained. But the producers need something to use to cut to when they want to fuck with the conversation at the table and make it seem different than what it really is so that you can't tell. So that girl just had to sit there and explain to you how a competition show works, aka you eliminate people one by one, just so the producers could fuck with the edit.
Like, I'm like highly full of a lot of emotions thoughts right now.
Yeah.
I just don't feel like being
You feel really nervous.
I really like Lauren too. It's starting to hold up. The fact that I remember her being my favorite when I watched this in high school. I think that is very smart and emotionally intelligent to understand that, like, you're not pessimistic. You're not even optimistic. It's just a lot to process. And you are processing it. You don't feel like being chatty at the dinner table. And she also expresses that in a very good way that does not lead to more conflict, which the producers were probably kicking themselves over. But I, as a human, enjoy.
I feel pretty well prepared going into the first audition.
Okay, it is the day of the audition. All of these girls are curling their hair in the most crazy, diabolical way you could imagine. And they are getting ready that morning to go in and someone's going home.
Whenever I see myself act, I'm like, I'm the worst actor I've ever seen.
I have that problem. When I start editing a YouTube video, I hate it every time. Every time. I have to watch it 4 times and continue to fuck with it before I am even remotely happy with it. And I still go back and forth on if I love it or hate it every single time I finish a video. So that's why it's nice when y'all interact with it, because that lets me know it's not shit. Thank you so much. XOXO.
Now, I hope you guys worked on your lines.
It will not matter that they learned their lines and prepared. It kind of does, but they're about to tell you what the twist is for this audition. I find it a little ridiculous, but
I want you during the scene with the girls to forget one of your lines.
Isn't that ridiculous? I think they should think it's ridiculous too. This is the first time you've seen any of them act. Like, okay, musical theater, acting through song, whatever, blah, blah, blah. I'm not getting into the weeds with that. The first time you've seen them do straight is right here. And then you said, okay, instead of just like seeing naturally how they act, I'm gonna manufacture a really long pause in the middle of the scene for no reason and catch them all off guard, even though it's their very first audition like this in the entire process. This is how I know that it's like they are really trying to just make good TV, because there's no reason for this. It is an important skill to have, listening to your scene partner, being able to pick up where they leave off. I was in a situation with my friend where I was like royally fucking it up. It was right before I got my next one on taken out, so I was just not in my head at all. And we spent a good 3 minutes trying to save it, but then it hit a point where it was like, this is no longer salvageable, and it was all my fault, but he was saying it was also his fault, and that was very kind of him, but it was absolutely 100% my fault. What I'm trying to say is I do see the merit in a test like this, but I also think that there are 6 more weeks in which you can enact something like this, and maybe the very first time is not when it should be. And also, all of these are about to be so awkward because of it, because none of these poor girls know what to do. Because they're also, none of these are like seasoned actors, right? For some of these people, it's probably one of their first major things that they've done, and I'm sure they've never experienced something like this before. I once had a teacher who was making us all individually go in and do like a reading as like a mock audition, and for some reason she just like made the reader start speaking in Spanish. That was her little secret side instruction to them. I still to this day could not tell you what the point of that was. How do we proceed from there? What possibly comes next? That doesn't make logical sense. Okay, I say the line in English like I know it, or I don't react to it, but isn't the whole thing that I'm gonna react? I don't know. Listen, so much acting is so subjective, and you can go to 5 different teachers and they're all gonna tell you something completely different because it's all contradictory, because there is really no one set way to do it. But people want to tell you that there is because they do want to take your money from you. Unfortunately, that is the truth.
I could lose my fitness empire, which means everything to me.
I know damn well they added that sound effect in there. No, that was not that audible. That's crazy that you did that, MTV. Also, again, I hate the premise of this challenge. Just reiterating. After it ends, every single one of them is like, when did I drop a line? And they're like, oh, we asked you to do that. And they're like, oh. Okay, good. But like, I just don't understand.
Can we make sure she's on her toes and able to drive the scene forward if her partner is not?
But that's not her scene partner. For 8 of these girls, that is the first time they have met this person. That is not an established relationship. She knows nothing about this other person in front of her. How is she supposed to know if that's how she normally delivers that line or not? Then you run the risk of stepping over someone's like moment where they're doing something and stepping on their line. You don't want to do that either. This is not like the amazing philosophical deep acting challenge that they think it is. And this is I feel very strongly about this. I think it's kind of ridiculous that they're trying to like be like, is she on her toes? Can she drive the scene forward for her partner? Yeah, if it was her partner who she knew anything about. This is a stranger. It's not like a reader per se because it is someone you're acting with, but that's about as deep as that relationship goes. They don't know anything about this person.
I know I didn't do my best.
And these girls are like crying after they get up here and they mess up, but they're not messing up. I think that this is really silly. I think this is a very silly thing to be doing. And I know I've said that 1,000 times, but I genuinely just think that it's a piss poor idea. And I don't understand why they're touting it as something so wonderfully transcendent.
So you can hang out in the wings and we're going to continue.
Okay, they proceed to do this 9 more times, but I don't get to see every single person do it, only like 4 or 5 of them. The other thing is that no one really does it well. There's a couple of them that pick it up and say the line to her posed in a different way, which is like what you probably should do in that scene, but not a single one of them does it quickly. There is a long ass pause every time. So no one does this well, which is fine because it's crazy to do. But they keep picking on certain people as if they're doing worse. And I don't really think that's true. Now, some of these girls are better actors than others. I'm not going to get into the weeds with that and tell you really specifics who I think is good and who's could use some extra work, because I think that that's not productive and has nothing to do with what I'm here to talk to you about today. But the framing of this whole thing just really grinds my gears.
Look, I will double Delta Nu sister swear not to tell.
I think of the few that we get to see the whole drawn out process with, Cassie does it the best. There is still a long pause, but she's still obviously emoting throughout it and acting in steps closer and is kind of comforting. But it's weird because no one compliments her for that. She actually gets a lot of negative remarks about her stance and how it feels like she's acting, which I don't necessarily disagree with. But I just think that if the point was that, I think that you should be applauding her for doing the thing that you said you were testing. This show makes no sense. I think you know, it might surprise you, but doing auditions as a reality show is kind of convoluted and asinine. When Selena does it, she does this kind of motion like this, and then when they're like, what was that about? She says,
Hey, what was this?
What was
What was
this?
this?
That was me going, you can tell me, it's okay.
Now, I don't think that's true. I think this challenge is ridiculous, and I think that whatever you do to get through it is fine, but I don't think that's what was happening there. But it's okay. I'm with you, and I fully support you.
Watching the other girls have a line dropped on them purposefully was actually really heartbreaking.
They really try to set Emma up as the big complainer for the edit, but she is correct. Why would you do this? And it's terrible to watch, and it just feels masochistic and weird. And it's not proving anything to anyone. I've said this too many times. I really don't like this challenge at all. You know, maybe that's going to be my downfall one day, the fact that I'm saying this on the internet right now about this one specific challenge on this old-ass reality TV show. But I just hate it. I hate everything about it.
We asked her to drop the line.
Oh, okay.
I really like Autumn, too. I think that she's very, very fun. I also think that she did it very well as you can in the circumstances. I would say that of who I get to see, her and Cassie S. cover it the best under the circumstances.
As in, like, getting to do it on Broadway is ridiculously important. That's my dream. That's why I'm here.
Then Autumn does a side interview out in the hallway, but they hold a toilet paper tube up to the boom mic before she starts talking. That way it makes the sound really hollow and echoey for no reason, is what I'm assuming happened, because I don't know why the sound would be that bad if not that.
She looked at me like I was
Yeah! Me too.
I'm like, no, I memorized my lines, woman. You're messing up.
And that's another thing that was happening that they just mentioned in this after part. The girl that plays Brooke is looking at them expectantly the whole time, like it is their fault, and I find that diabolical. I'm gonna stop talking about this. The challenge is over. They're deliberating. I'm gonna stop bringing this up, but I want you to understand. I think you fucking understand. I've said it 1,000 times.
There's something about her that's bumping me in a way that is not the right energy. But there's something that is undeniably right.
It's just that she looks like Reese Witherspoon. I think that Emma is really talented and she seems like a sweet girl, and I'm glad that she's on this show. They keep making very vague comments about something just being right. It's because she looks like Reese Witherspoon. That is the thing that's right. The thing that's right is that it's like, oh, you look like someone who's played this role before. She's very talented, but that vague, there's something right about her comment has nothing to do with that.
No, I mean...
Why?
Well, for the first time I saw her, she walked out, and there's nothing about her that broadcasts Elle to me.
So when she walked out as herself and wasn't at all in character, am I alone in this opinion? I haven't watched... I know other YouTubers have covered this show, but that was like a few years ago, and I didn't rewatch any of them in preparation for this. Am I alone in my opinion that I'm not going to say out loud that we all know what it is? Am I alone? I just, every comment is so a little nasty. I don't know. Maybe it's the edit there too, but I don't like it.
The judges have given me a list with 7 names.
All right, then they go through a ridiculously long process to tell you who are the 7 who were saved. None of that is necessary for the purposes of this video. The bottom 3 are Lindsay, Cassie O, and Cassie S. I think that Cassie S does not deserve to be in the bottom 3. The other 2 I understand. There are a lot of comments made about Cassie S having a kind of fakey vibe to the way she does Elle, which is probably why she was chosen to be in the bottom 3. I don't necessarily disagree. But if I was one of those 3 people down in that room, Cassie S is the one that I would be like, oh, well, she's obviously safe. And the other 2 would be the ones that are actually in danger of going home, because that's always kind of how it works with these shows. But anyway, that goes on for way too long because they draw out suspense in these, like, an annoying amount. And then the bottom 3 are told to go directly to the casting office, which is the fun little name they have for the place where the eliminations happen for this show.
I want to see what's underneath there. I want to see that vulnerability. I want to see those levels of your soul.
It's too much Cassie S.
Oh my god, this shit's so drawn out. Can you just get to it? There's like a fucking sound effect every 3 seconds for suspense. This is not a slasher film. This is a reality TV show about Broadway. Must we have this many sound cues? If this were a stage production, the stage manager would be swinging from the rafters. That was a really niche inner workings of theater joke. Maybe if you're watching this, that worked for you though. So welcome. I'll explain it to the rest of you. So essentially, what happens for a live production is that there is a stage manager. The stage manager has a headset and is in direct communication to the lighting and sound operators, among other things. It varies from show to show for the entire time, and they are calling the show, which essentially means that they sit with their headset on and they go, Q 43. Go. And when they say go is when the operator of whatever board knows it's time to do it. So, explaining the joke to you some more. If this show with all of its various sound effects were a stage show, the stage manager would be having to say a cue number and go so much that they would kill themselves. That's what I'm saying. Okay. Back to the show that I'm skipping through because I'm tired of nothing happening.
You still have a chance to be the next Elle Woods on Broadway.
Thank you so much.
All right, they reveal one by one, as painstakingly slowly as possible, that Lindsay and Cassie S are both safe, which means Cassie O is going home, and we get, you can't get more 2000s than this. We get a montage of all of her moments on the show, which she was on it for an episode and a half. So there's not that many. But it's set to Home by Chris Daughtry. Ah! American Idol? American Idol's still on, but I don't watch it anymore. I miss being able to feel pumped about American Idol. Wish Carrie Underwood was cool still. She's not, though. I found it very amusing when her music didn't play during the inauguration. If I was in her shoes, I would have been petrified. But the thing is I never would have been in her shoes. And she didn't have to put herself in those shoes either. That was a choice that she made. End of story. Not what we're talking about today. Cassie O is gone. I think she has a bit of a breakdown right before she leaves, which is justified. But it is kind of, I thought it was fake when I first watched it because it doesn't look like real crying. But maybe she's just very, I don't know. And then they turn out the light on her headshot like she's fucking dead or something. And that is the end of episode 2. I'm gonna start watching these on 2x speed. I don't think I can do this for the next 6 hours. It's already 6 p.m. All right, we are moving on to episode 3. This one is a more, how to describe it? It's a singing/acting episode, I would say. They're doing a bit of both. The girls are starting to get a little more catty with each other. It really starts to come out in full force in this episode. And also, there's a lot of teamwork talk and how they're not really any good at it. So, here we go.
I don't think she possesses any qualities of Elle Woods, but that's all I'm gonna say.
Oh, that was a true, like, bless her heart sentence if I've ever heard one. So, Cassie, no longer Cassie S, she's only Cassie now. So just Cassie and Lindsay return. Everyone is happy to see them, except maybe they're not happy to see Cassie. I don't know. Bailey sure as hell isn't, that's for sure. Everyone else seems to be, but Cassie does remark that it feels like no one really hugs her as much as they hug Lindsay whenever they get back, which I thought was interesting.
It sucks to say it. Lindsay was obviously like hugged a lot more than I was. I haven't felt really close to anybody in the house, so you better watch your back.
These are the times when I again say, you have felt close to no one in the house, but you see everyone else is kind of getting close. When do we look within and determine that that might be something that we're doing to be causing that rift? I fear for her the answer is never. We don't ever do it. But for the rest of us, maybe we should.
Cassie's bed. It's tough to look at Cassio's bed now.
Okay, well, y'all, she's not dead. Text her. Yeah, you could text. Text her. Call her. You can't FaceTime her yet. It's 2008. But you can, like, DM. No. AIM? Yeah. AIM her.
My God! When we first walked into the room, first thing we saw was 9 bikes.
This is an episode that really stuck in my mind when I watched this for the first time and was the only thing that I concretely knew happened in this show. The mini challenge this week is all 9 of them on these ellipticals, pedaling and singing at the same time. Now, I think this is a very good challenge. I think that the stamina is necessary. You know, it's like when Taylor Swift prepared for the Eras Tour, she did the entire set list while on the treadmill. This is very similar to that. We're going to start seeing some egos come into play big time during the talking heads in this episode. And I'm excited for us to go on that journey together.
Sit chair, sit chair, sit chair, sit chair, sit chair. Oh, snap. It was
Please don't curse.
I mean, it was an accident. I hate feeling like someone's getting in trouble when they haven't done anything wrong, really, or like purposely done anything, and then someone's speaking to them like they have done something terrible, which that was a very mild version of that. I've seen worse, though. I hate shit like that. It makes me irrationally upset.
Started to call us out one by one.
5, 6, Rhiannon.
What you want, yes, I know what you want. Even so, what you want is right in front of you, front of you.
Part of the challenge is that they each are individually having to pedal and sing at the same time as a kind of mini audition in a way, so that he can pick who his favorite is of the 9. Some of these are very good. Some of them are not as good. Some of these people think that they were really good when they were not.
What you want, now you said what you want, now you get what you want is right in front of you, front of you.
Everybody was having a really hard time with it, and it kind of felt like a piece of cake for me.
Cassie, you can't be upset that it seems like people don't like you and then say shit like that. You can't get away with it. You simply cannot.
What you want, now you said what you want, let's go get what you want.
This could just be the edit, but I feel like this challenge is very unfair because some of them are doing stuff more towards the beginning of the song, which is still difficult, but not as high. And then the last few people that had to go are doing like this ridiculously high belt. They both did amazing at it, don't get me wrong, but it almost gives them an unfair advantage because it's more impressive that they're doing that, which is why I think the person who wins won. She had such a clear and still powerful, really high belt even while biking on the elliptical that really like sealed the deal for her. Everyone's kind of upset that she won, but I think it makes perfect sense that she did. I don't know. Lauren wins the competition. Most of the girls think that Emma should have won the competition because Emma was a smoker and just quit 2 weeks ago, and she does very well, which I do understand. But first of all, I don't know if Seth Rudetsky knows that. Oh, actually, no, she does say it. I forgot. She does say to him that she just quit smoking. And that is very commendable, and I love that for her. But I think that, you know, that random man is not going to make that be a deciding factor. Lauren's very much stands out in the mind. And also, Emma has this habit of doing this when she's singing.
What you want, what you want, what you want, what you want.
the second time she's done it.
Lauren, your voice was phenomenal. The winner!
So Lauren wins the challenge. No one else is happy about this, including Emma. And to top it all off and add insult to injury, the person that Lauren chooses to go with her to get mani-pedis with Orphe, who plays Paulette in the musical, is Cassie. I was shocked by that decision. Her reasoning makes kind of sense.
I thought that she deserved, you know, a little stress relief after being in the bottom 3 yesterday, so I decided to choose Cassie.
But I really didn't think that that would be what happened.
Because I had really wanted to win, and, you know, I totally didn't want to go on, like, oh, a charity pick.
Can you just say thank you? Thank you, Lauren, for taking me. That was so kind of you. I'm so excited to also meet Orphe. See how easy that is? So you don't need to be kind of like weird and passive-aggressive? See how it kind of makes sense that most people don't like you when that's how you talk to people or about people? Do we see it?
Go to Dashing Divas and have...
There's a lot of feet shots in this that I'm not going to show you because, you know, in 2008, I don't think these girls knew that their feet would probably become prime real estate on the internet. So I'll save them from having that exposed if no one knows that they're there. But also, I did just say that it exists out there. So, oops, sorry.
Meeting Orphe was great. It was really great to talk to her. I mean, I do feel like I learned a lot from her.
This is a very sweet and good conversation that I'm glad they were able to talk to someone in kind of a mentor context. The only thing of interest that happens during this meeting is Cassie makes more comments about how everyone in the house is mean. A sentiment I still have heard no one else share.
We walked in and I was holding my breath because I was worried that I'd have to deal with the awkward tension.
It is indeed very awkward when they return. To which I would say, aren't y'all supposed to be actors? Can you be a little bit normal? They're really bad at acting like they don't hate both those bitches for being able to go do that. Like, everyone is kind of just like, hi. Welcome back. How was your mani-pedi? And then Emma is the queen of the passive-aggressive comments in this little portion right here.
For me personally, hanging out with Orphe would be a lot of fun, but I wouldn't have an advantage, simply because I've grown up in the business.
Okay. Yeah. You grew up in the business. You are still in the same competition as all these nobodies who did not grow up in the business. So, they're... listen, this is going to sound really bitchy, and I really don't necessarily mean it that way. I'm just trying to figure out what her logic is. Obviously, that would have given you an advantage because there must be something that you still need because you've grown up in the business but have not succeeded. So you are in need of something from someone. I don't know what it is. You don't know what it is, but there's something that's not working there. Those two things are very contradictory. There's a cognitive dissonance happening here that I don't really understand.
I think that Emma deserved it more because she's been a smoker and she did the best out of everybody. But, you know, it doesn't matter. I'm not the judge of this.
She's so Southern catty. It's so funny. Look, I do understand why everyone thinks that Emma should have won. It is the principle of it. I don't think she necessarily was the best, though, so I don't know why we keep saying that. But I get it. But also, you are right. You are not the judge.
We have to be there at 9 o'clock. What? It's 8 now. We have half hour.
The next day, the girls are given a call sheet that is like 30 minutes after they all wake up, which I can only guess was made to create drama and tension and get them all on edge before their day even begins, because what other reason would you have? They're not on anyone else's schedule. Their whole purpose is this reality TV show. When they get there, they make the discovery that they will be learning both the Elle Woods part of the song Oh My God, You Guys, which is the opening number, and the Delta Nu part, which is kind of like the ensemble. It's all of Elle's sorority sisters. They have a reoccurring role throughout the show as a Greek chorus almost. They'll be learning that part too and interchanging, almost like a swing. Hi. Not theater people. Let me explain that one to you. So a swing is someone who normally is studying multiple different parts, and they're called a swing because at the very last minute, they can be asked to swing into any of those. Normally, it's like 2 to 3-ish, I think, can be asked to take over any of those roles at the last second, and they have to be ready to go on. Normally, there will be like a small put in rehearsal that they'll be able to do, but this is a very common practice in theater, so this is again another challenge that makes sense. I think it's also a really good ego check.
Can't wear something I got on sale.
I bought on sale.
Can't wear something I got on sale.
Bought.
I got bought on sale.
I just think that's real funny. So they do that whole process. Everyone learns the 2 parts they have to learn, and then later that night, they are back in the hotel and they decide they are going to all run the numbers again. And this is where stuff starts to break down. They're all supposed to be helping each other out. And then
all of the girls were rehearsing and, you know, Bailey had lost her voice. And when it came to be like my turn to be Elle, she didn't even go through it before she was marking through everybody else's.
Now, I understand wanting to keep your voice for an audition. I just submitted a tape today that I was like, this is not my best, but I've been sneezing so much the past week that it's just is what it is. It sucks when you feel like that's happening. You kind of have to still just like show up and do it because like a deadline's a deadline and audition day's an audition day. Whatever state you are in, you must just do it. And I think that would make your voice very tired doing that many times because there's 9 of them. So you're doing it 1 time as Elle and then 8 times as a Delta Nu. That's kind of crazy. That's a lot of singing, and then it's late at night. They have an audition the next day. I understand, but it is kind of catty that she walked away completely when it was time for Cassie's. Now, I think there also is something to say about the fact that Cassie seems to be not the most liked by everyone. And again, this is the perception I'm getting based on the edit. If anyone knows any of these girls and can give me a different perspective, I would love to have it. I can only go based off what I see. And I think I did find a reunion on YouTube that we might do as a second video. I think that she was really concerned about losing her voice, but I also think that that's a thing that can be used as a bit of an excuse. Like, I don't like this person already, and I don't really want to do this with them. And also, I want to save my voice. So that's a reason that I cannot do this. I need to save my voice and I don't like this person. Why the fuck would I do it? I think that's kind of what's happening. It's both things can be true and can influence each other.
Buy last year's dress at this year's price. Oh my God, you guys.
Here's where we're getting a bit of an insight into the fact that it doesn't seem that many people do like Cassie. She's running around in the house super early. It's very obvious that no one else is into what she's doing. Everyone looks visibly annoyed and she just continues.
Love is like forever. This is no rush. Oh my God.
If I had to pick one person to go home today, I would probably say it was Cassie S.
And then you have people saying, like Lindsay just said, if I could send anyone home, it would be Cassie. So that's when I'm like, Cassie, why are you wondering why people are mean to you? It seems that you are universally doing things that piss people off. Maybe work on that.
I prove myself in this competition and actually step up my game.
Reader, she would not do that. Now, like I said earlier, the song they're doing for this audition is Oh My God, You Guys, which is the opening number from the show. There's a little interlude in the middle of this song with a salesperson. You probably know this and you don't know that you know it if you do anything on the internet because there is a very famous clip of a very bad rendition of this part of the song. You have seen it before. I know that you have, unless that was also super niche and I didn't realize it because when it happened, I was surrounded by just theater people, which would be embarrassing if so, but might be the case. Here's what I'm talking about.
I've got eyes. Oh my God, Elle Woods. Sorry, our mistake. Courtney, take a break. Just ignore her, she hasn't been well. Try this, ladies from Milan. Go on, try it on. I take care of my best clientele. It's a gift from me to Elle.
So that's the little part that they're doing for the audition. This is kind of really difficult to do because music gets flagged so much easier than actual video does here. So if I include chunks that have the songs, I'm really worried this video is going to get like copyright and I don't want that to happen. So I'm trying to cut around it as best as I can and I'm sorry if that's making this a choppy experience.
I gotta leave Warner his pride. So pride is more implied.
Autumn is one of my favorites. I think her vocal quality is very pretty. And I think that she really embodies what they're going for.
And you didn't just get this in because I saw it in last May's Vogue.
Didn't buy it.
But I'm not that blonde. I may be.
You know, just a little bit more contradiction from the judging panel. It's not really contradiction. There are obviously degrees to this, but I do think it's funny that back to back, Rhiannon didn't have enough meanness, enough bite to the salesperson, but then Emma had too much. I don't know if I necessarily agree with that, but I'm seeing a little piece of it and not the whole thing. So seeing the whole thing could be a very different story, but it did not feel that mean to me. It feels like they just view her as mean. There's a few, like, very off the cuff, I think not at all warranted knee-jerk reactions these three have to some of these girls that I think is very mean. There's one that's about to happen where a girl's gonna cry very soon.
Did you feel like girls were kind of pooping out on yours and you're like,
Definitely.
come on, guys.
Definitely.
This is a crazy thing to do in front of the judging panel, and it's about to get worse. And she's like, I don't understand why everyone hates me, and then is doing this in front of everyone. They're all standing in the wings. As soon as she says that, Emma's jaw drops.
That pissed me off. She threw us all under a bus. Not cool. Not cool.
And then she's like, why don't they like me? Because that's the shit you're saying to the judges, girl.
Or like I'm waiting for it. I've gotta leave.
It does seem a little low, but that has to be just tonally because she doesn't sound off key. So I think her tone just isn't what they're looking for, which is fine if that's the case, but I don't think we need to act like she can't sing. She can. It's just not what you want, and that's okay. And it's not my favorite either, but it's not low. You would be able to tell if she was singing it in the wrong key or was super flat. That's not what I was hearing personally. I could be wrong. I don't think I am.
It's interesting. The first "oh my god" that you said, I felt like it was almost you were mocking them.
There's just a little bit of like, I don't want to be here.
I genuinely don't know where the fuck they're getting that from. That feels woefully misinterpreted and frankly really nitpicky for no reason. She messed up the last note, and I don't hear anyone say that. It's like thinly veiled personal attacks about like, do you even want to be here? What transpired that would make you think that wasn't the case? She had like a tone on a line that you're if you're a performer, you need to understand this is how fucking subjective casting is. They're making stuff up in their heads and saying that it's reality. That's how all casting is. They assume things about you, but at least here there's feedback. I don't think it would matter if she said that was not my intention. I think they wouldn't believe her because they seem pretty set. She's the least Elle Woods looking person of all of them, so I think it's the same thing as Lindsay, where it's very obvious that they were really never going to cast her, but for some reason she is here, and they're just kind of like extra mean to her because they want to get rid of her, but they aren't. So they're just like, you don't look like Elle Woods. Okay. She didn't at the beginning either, and now we're being extra mean to her for it, and I think that's not very nice. And she gets very upset by this line of questioning that they're giving her.
I hate not being treated like a person.
And I think she's very justified in that because that was very condescending and passive aggressive. And again, if that's something that's coming at you out of left field where you in no way, shape, or form were trying to put that out into the world and then someone just comes at you like that, I have experienced this like a woeful misjudgment of a situation where someone, instead of asking what's going on, is just like, you did this. No, I didn't. And I have also completely cried over it because it's shocking. It's like pure and utter shock. And then you feel crazy because you're like, I can't think of a single thing that could have ever interpreted this to end that way. I'm not going into the details of mine because honestly it stresses me out to think about it. It was years ago. But it's crazy. It's crazy when that happens to you. When someone's being confrontational with you about something that genuinely they made up in their head. Or they were lied to about. In my situation, someone lied.
Let's talk about Emma.
There's something about her that completely broadcasts Elle Woods.
She looks like Reese Witherspoon. Y'all say this every time. There's something about her that really makes me think of Elle Woods, but something about the way that she's portraying. She looks like Reese Witherspoon. I don't think that there's something about her that's like not Elle Woods. Don't get me wrong. I think that she's doing fine. I think that they're being pretty overly critical of her too. I think her acting choices make a lot of sense. The thing that she does whenever she finishes singing every time is the only thing that's kind of annoyed me. But they keep saying there's something. She looks like Reese Witherspoon. You said it yourself in the first episode, but now you keep acting like you have no idea why you associate her with Elle Woods in your head.
Let's talk about Bailey. She's very much in the game for me.
To me, it's very obvious that Telsey really loves Bailey as Elle Woods, and the other two are iffy. The good news is that at the end of the day, he is the casting director. So he is the one, if anyone on that panel, you're going to want to go to bat for you. So Bailey has succeeded in that regard, even though the other two seem to be calling her very Disney princessy, which I think is just because she has a very bubbly personality. But I agree, she has a very Elle Woods vibe to her, and I buy it instantly as well. I buy it just her talking in the real world. The first episode, I was like, oh, yeah. I, like, see it instantly, just in the way that she carries herself. I mean, she's been a little catty this episode, so that's not necessarily helping in that regard. But it's not like Elle Woods never said anything catty. She had that in her. She had that ability. When I decide to dress up like a frigid bitch, I try to not look so constipated. Elle Woods said that to someone that she didn't like. That was mean. So, in my opinion, Bailey's right on track.
At least one of you must go home tonight.
Something interesting that happens is that at the beginning of the episode, Haley Duff is saying, one of you will go home. But near the end, she's saying, at least one of you will go home. And only 5 names are listed on the list, and 4 will be going down to the casting office. So that makes me think maybe more than one person might get eliminated.
And they called Bailey next, who had, to me, a completely forgettable audition.
You know, I try really hard to give everyone on this show the benefit of the doubt that maybe the edit is what's making them seem mean, or they're being edited to be the villain, it's not real. But, you know, something like that, I can't think of another way I could possibly perceive that besides trying to be mean. It just seems like there's nothing going on there, but just, I didn't like it. I don't think you could spin that a different way than what it is. I'm glad we're at the part of the episode where it's super fucking repetitive and it's just them saying names with crescendoing music behind it when I have to pee really bad.
Okay, girls, there's 6 of you and only 2 names left on the list. Okay, girls, there's just 1 name left on this list.
Oh my god, this shit's so repetitive.
Cassie.
It's gotta be something she's doing. They cannot all be this much in consensus about someone and her not be at least doing something. They all are like, I could not fucking believe that they let Cassie go through the neck. Every single one of them? All the other ones, you have like 1 or 2 people saying like, I don't like this person. I thought this person wasn't good. This is like every single person united against being very anti-Cassie. So she's had to have done something.
And I think she knows that I think she's obnoxious, but not that I don't like her. I mean, because I like her. She'd be cool if she was just chill.
She is so specifically Southern. I've probably said that exact sentence before, I'm sure. I know I've heard my mom. All right, my phone just super glitched out, but I got like 3 minutes left on this episode. So I'm going to try to get through it before I offload everything I've recorded already. Okay, where were we? Oh, yeah, Bailey had just said the most iconic, clearest thing I've ever heard. And now the final 4 of Emma, Lauren, Lindsay, and Selena are heading down to the casting office so that one of them, or more, can get eliminated.
This audition process is definitely like different than any other audition process I've been in.
The process is insane. It is. And it is a little crazy to do anything in the way that they're doing it, but more power to them, I guess. In a way, I do like the thought of it because it does give you a chance to prove yourself. So if something's not your strong suit, but you are willing to work at it, it's a lot easier for you to make that known through a situation like this than if you are like doing it one time and messing it up, and then they're like, okay, I'm gonna make every judgment based off of this one thing I've seen you not be able to do. That sucks. I know from experience, because as we've already discussed, I am not a good dancer. But I do it that one time and it's not good, and I'm like, hey, I promise you that it's just like not something that I ever was taught how to do well, and I would spend so much time learning it if you just like let me learn it. But that doesn't work well. They don't really cast that way, and they shouldn't. Don't get me wrong. It's just not my strong suit. So it's just like I go in and I'm like, let's see how much they care about this. They always do, which they should. But there I go anyway. Make a damn fool of myself.
You are Elle Woods. I would almost say almost more than anybody else in this competition.
They keep saying that, and I don't know why. I don't know what it is about her that is so insanely Elle Woods more than the other girls. I don't pick up on it. Maybe it's like her electrodes. I don't know. I don't know what it is about her, but they really love her and think that she is perfect for Elle Woods, except for the everything else performance-wise. I don't know what's going on with their perceptions of these girls, because they also were just kind of like really rude to Lauren a second ago. Like,
Are you even aware of what you look like out there?
You get
Lauren.
frowny face.
Like, Lauren very much has a case of RBF, but they're acting like it's a personal attack, and I think that that's a little wacky, but what do I know?
Lindsay, you're cut. I just don't see you as the next Elle Woods on Broadway.
All right, and a surprise to probably no one, Lindsay is the one that's going home. Not that she's not insanely talented, I just think that this is her second week in the bottom, and Lauren has shown a lot of potential and just won the mini challenge, and overall has I just like Lauren a lot is what this is. This is me sticking up for Lauren. Of those four in that room, I like her the best, and I would want for her to make it out. So Lindsay's going home. She gets her wonderful Chris Daughtry home montage, and then they kill her off symbolically by taking off the light from her headshot, as if she has died. And that is the end of episode 3. And now I must go offload this shit from my phone and probably eat some food and try really hard to get through this and get to actually sleep tonight. I don't think that's gonna happen. All right, we are back after a very much needed hiatus to charge my phone and get all my shit together and eat some dinner and have an energy drink. At some point, these lights shifted behind me. It's just gonna stay that way. It's almost 10 p.m. I've only done 3 episodes of this so far. This is going well. I was able to watch 3 more of them while this was happening, so I'm gonna knock a few out rapid fire before I let my phone charge again. I am now watching these on 2 times speed. Let's continue. All right, everyone, sans Lindsay is returning back to the loft. And the thing is that Cassie kind of did that thing where she threw everyone under the bus in the middle of the audition process, so no one has been able to address that with her yet. And let me tell you, they are about to.
Cassie, I'm really, like, what you said out there about us, I just felt like you completely let me down. Let all of us down.
This is a heightened situation, and sometimes I think you perceive things differently than like they're actually happen.
There we go. I think that pretty much explains it. Yes, everyone probably does view her a certain way, but I don't think that happened organically from the beginning. I think it's true now because of the way that she's acting, but it seems like a thing that was maybe a little bit self-imposed. Like, oh, no one likes me, so to make everyone like me, I'm gonna tell the judges that they wouldn't help me, even though that's not really that true. I don't know what you thought was gonna happen. This goes on for a bit. I think that Autumn is very emotionally intelligent, and I really, really like her.
All the girls ganged up on me and told me that they thought that I had thrown them under the bus.
You did. They didn't gang up on you. You hurt each of their chances of getting this, and they are addressing it with you. That's not... It's only ganging up on you because you targeted every single one of them That's the only reason. It's not like a purposeful witch hunt. You're doing exactly what she just said you were doing. You're making it really personal. You are the one who said something you shouldn't have.
And that I was a completely fake person, and all of these crazy thoughts that they had all thought of me so far.
No one said that. At least not in this edit that I'm viewing. No one said she was a completely fake person. Just want to make sure we all understand that.
I don't do girls, like I don't have girlfriends, and like I don't know how to talk to girls.
God, I should have known that was going to be where this went. I don't do girls, I don't have girlfriends. Okay? That's your fault. That's fully and completely your fault. I don't believe that it's not. Everyone wants great female friendships so bad. We are all searching. If you don't have any, that might be, again, a you problem. Next, she's gonna be like, girls are just so much drama. Ugh.
I don't know what's going on. It's like, I think we all need to just get a good night's rest.
Girl, this is more than a good night's rest. I agree with your sentiment, but I think that Autumn and Selena both did a very good job trying to moderate that conversation and make it feel as least attacky as possible. Now, Cassie was obviously going to take it that way no matter what, and that's well within her right to do, but you can tell they were trying to be measured about it, and I think that counts in a situation like this. All right, their mini challenge is taking them to a studio, and they were told to bring a notebook and pen, which I think is very interesting. And they have no idea what's going on. It's a very vague thing. They are all on their way there now.
Dogs! Surprise!
Doggy! Yay! Dogs, dogs, dogs.
We want to watch you guys bond with the dogs. Now, this workshop is going to be a little different than the last one because this time we'll be taking your work home with you.
So essentially, the gist of this workshop is the dog trainer guy, whose name I cannot remember, and I do not want to rewind this and go check, so it's just dog trainer guy. So sorry, man. I'm sure you're really great at your job. He is giving them tips on how to work with the dogs, because in the musical, Elle's dog Bruiser is actually on stage. And in order to do that, the girls will be taking the dogs home with them, and they will be in the apartment, hotel, wherever the hell it is that they're staying for the whole night until the next day, which is very exciting. And honestly, probably a very good, relief from the feeling of this competition, I would think, to have something else to think about and take care of for a day. I think that probably would be good for them.
After working with Bill here today.
Bill, his name's Bill. Bill the dog man. Sorry, I didn't remember your name, Bill. I'll try to from now on. I am making no promises.
It has to look like they're attached to you and not just an accessory.
Okay.
Teddy, stay. Let's just be good friends.
I am starting to wonder if they're giving Cassie a bit of a bad edit. I think that some of it is real and self-imposed, but they're really hammering home this thing where she's not good with the dogs, which is really funny, but might not be the most unbiased approach. Okay, so the next morning, Emma wakes up and she is feeling incredibly sick.
My chest really burns and my nose is totally stuffed up.
It's bad. She's trying really hard to rally. Honestly, I commend it. She still goes with them and does everything else they have to do that day.
Teddy, stay. Teddy? Teddy, stay.
All right.
Selena looking away as if she cannot watch a car crash happen in front of her is so oh my god. They really all don't like her. I hate to say it, I think she did it to herself a little bit.
My choice would be Autumn.
So the prize for this mini challenge is that the winner, and of course they'll pick a second person because there's so many of them, that stops at top 5, I think. The prize for this mini challenge is basically a little lunch date meet and greet with the guy that plays Warner, which always gives you kind of a bit of a clue into what their actual audition is going to be that week. So it's probably going to be a scene with Warner and they're going to be working with that guy. I think his name's Richard Blake. It's late at night. The names are escaping me. Apologies. And the winner of the challenge is Autumn. She was obviously very comfortable with the dogs, like right off the bat, and she chooses Selena to be the person that she takes with her to go meet him. I think that they've become pretty close friends.
In the house, it started really getting to be a little cliquey. Selena's really good friends with Autumn now, and I'm not really cliquey with anybody.
Cassie discovers friendship. That's 2 people that are close with each other. That's not like 5 people that are refusing to speak to you. You're not really cliquey with anybody because you have royally pissed everyone off at this point. Lauren tried. She took you with her for her little prize after she won her challenge, and then you shit on all of your fellow contestants last episode, and they told you to your face that they do not like that you did that, and you're so surprised that you're the oddball out. You are putting yourself in that position, girl. I don't know how many times I have to say it.
You'll be performing a section of the song Serious with Richard for the judges.
I do love this song. It's so funny. This is one of my favorite songs in the show. A lot of the songs are my favorite song, but I like this one a lot, especially.
Selena and I got to meet Richard Blake.
Hi, ladies.
They are meeting Richard Blake in the back of a dog boutique because fucking of course that's what this show is doing. He's bringing them a dozen roses each. There's like a champagne set up on this little table in the back of a dog boutique. What the fuck is going on?
So how's it been going for you guys? You been having a good time so far?
Amazingly, yes. I've been having such a good time.
Yeah, it's been really hard and stressful.
Yeah.
I can't take anything they're saying right now seriously. I am looking at an entire human-sized rack of dog clothes behind them while they have this conversation.
I know that getting to spend time with Richard Blake is going to help me in the audition tomorrow.
They say this every time they get to meet someone who is involved with the show that they work with. I think they overestimate these little 20-minute meetings and the effectiveness of them every single time. Honestly, I think they might be cursed. I think that someone always gets sent to the bottom 3 who does this little meeting with someone that's actually a part of the cast. Yeah, no, wait, I think that's true. There might be 1 or 2 exceptions, but I really think that might be correct.
So first of all, have any of you guys been dumped?
Lauren, pretend you have been.
Lauren, have you been or you're lying?
Yeah, sure.
She's 18, dude. She probably hasn't really experienced a breakup.
Sorry.
Emma, you're having vocal problems. What's happening?
Emma's sickness is affecting her more during this rehearsal session that they're having during the day to go over the song. It's been 3 weeks since she quit smoking, and Seth Rudetsky is like, when my friend did Rent, humble brag. The cough actually gave her even more vocal problems, so we learned that Emma is going to be going to a doctor as soon as this rehearsal session is over.
You know, none of the judges wanted you to come back this week. Just kidding. But that's the devastation you have to feel.
Diabolical. Diabolical. Seth Rudetsky. I can't believe you just did that to her. This is psychological warfare.
She looked at my vocal cords. She listened to my chest.
When Emma goes to the doctor, she learns that she has bronchitis and the beginnings of a sinus infection. They give her medicine, but she is determined to still continue on, and she will be doing the actual audition that night. She makes a really good point about how you want to feel your best for an audition, but sometimes shit happens. I sent in a tape this morning, and I kept sneezing. And I felt it sitting on my vocal cords, and I was like, I still gotta send this in today. The deadline is Monday. There's not another single day I can do it. I need to film 8 episodes of a fucking reality TV show today. This morning is the only time I have to do this. So I did it, and I submitted it. And I have worked with these people before, so I can only just hope that they can remember the other times and go from there. That's all. That sometimes... That's literally all that you can do, and you have to just submit what you can and say, it's out of my hands. It's out of my hands.
You remember your judges? Broadway casting director Bernie Kelsey, one of the writers from Legally Blonde the musical, Heather Hawk, and Broadway diva himself, Paul Kanan.
Y'all are so lucky because I have to listen to her do that same spiel every 30 minutes, and you only get to hear the whole thing once at the very beginning of this video and not have to deal with it again. You also don't have to sit through the painstaking part where the last 15 to 20 minutes of the episode is her one by one reading names off of a list and re-explaining the rules every time she picks a new person to save. Oh my god, it's excruciating.
Oh, just shut up! I am seriously in love with you.
I'm having trouble believing it.
So more in the moment.
Yeah, more everything.
Yeah. I could have worked harder. I could have, you know, instead of sleeping 4 hours last night, I could have slept 2.
Girl, nobody said that. Genuinely, nobody said that. What would you have accomplished as far as like an acting choice with 2 less hours of sleep? It's not like you're writing a paper. I don't understand. That feels like fake, like grind set logic. I don't think much would have changed. I think you needed the note to know. If it's not something, if it's not a choice that you naturally are going to make until you get a note telling you to do it, you're not going to just know to do it. It's not going to pop into your head the more sleep deprived you get. This is not a field in which you can say, if I had only slept 2 less hours, I could have been a better actor. I don't think so. I don't think so.
I feel like after a few weeks now, it's almost like repetitive and the same. And I need it to be a little bit more special and a little bit more than just a perfect Laura Bell Bundy portrayal.
I think that's a fair criticism. The second part of it, I think saying I'm seeing a similar thing over the last few weeks when you're auditioning for the same character every time is like, I think that might be what you do want to see. But it being like a bit of a Laura Bell Bundy impression, I can see the merit in that criticism. I would agree a little bit. But it might serve her well in the realm of this competition. Who's to say?
How did you feel you did?
My comedy beats
Yes, big
could have
time.
been a little bit, like, sharper.
Or just there.
Oh, goddamn. You said it. Woo! It's very evident to me that they just don't like her that much. Not in a personal way, but like as this character in this role. They very obviously do not see her in it. I don't know why they keep torturing her by making little nitpicking comments every single week until they finally decide to send her home. But this is like the 4th time they've said, I don't know, I just don't really see you as Elle. Okay, then free her. Send her away. Let her go back to other things.
I was like, Autumn's better than this.
Autumn chokes a little bit during her audition. I think that meeting with the actors from the show, I mentioned this earlier, but to explain it now that you know what I'm talking about, is a bit of a disadvantage. I think it can kind of give you a bit of a false confidence, but also I think that you're more liable to get in your head about it because you know that you should have an advantage because it seems to be everyone's downfall every time. Both of the girls who met Richard Blake this week did not well during this audition challenge, whatever the fuck you want to call it. I don't even know anymore. All right, now it's Emma's turn. She has bronchitis. She can kind of barely breathe, but she is going to go do the audition anyway because she's really cool. She does very well, honestly. She's pretty fantastic.
I'm speaking, but just where do you fit in?
Fit me in. I can only hope that when I think I sound sick, that's as good as I sound. She's a little shaky in some notes, but goddamn, considering, it's pretty great. She's gonna be shaky. She can't take a full breath to save her life, which is terrifying, a sentence, actually. That sounds a lot more morbid than I meant it when I started it. It's just a common phrase. I apologize.
All right, good day today, huh? She's not this role.
Another mention of Selena not being for that role. Can y'all put her out of her misery? Please, for the love of God, let her go. Let her go about her life and be successful elsewhere. Y'all are just torturing her at this point.
When you're waiting for Haley to call you.
God, it's the standing in line part. I'm going to just put this microphone down because I'm not going to need it for the next 5 to 10 minutes.
There are 7 of you left on the stage and only 4 names left on this list.
You know, I'm glad they give Haley Duff a chance to practice her math skills, though, because she sure does tell me what number of people is there, who's already gone, how many names are left to go on the list every time. It's like grown-up Sesame Street. I get to shout at the screen, 4! There's 4 more names on the list. This part drives me crazy. I've had to listen to it so many times, and it's the same every episode, and it's so unnecessary. Were we extra dumb in the 2000s? I think we're pretty fucking dumb now. I'll restrict that to just America. I won't make the rest of the world feel that. I think there's a percentage of my current audience that's in the UK, so y'all are fine. I don't know what's happening over there. There's a lot happening here. It's kind of all consuming. I don't know exactly what's happening in your neck of the woods. Y'all are getting by better than us. So I got real southern. It's Bailey's fault. I'm blaming her.
The final name on the list is Natalie.
All right, so the bottom 3 for this week are Cassie, Selena, and Autumn. Autumn is very good. She's one of my favorites, but she did have a bit of an off week. I think her comedy choices were not the best. I really think she just got super in her head about it. So we will see who gets eliminated after we get done with this convoluted montage that will actually let us make our way into the casting room.
Come on, give me credit. Like, I've never even seen the material before. Doesn't that say something for me?
Every audition is like that. Also, every other person up there was in the same situation as you. I don't like excuse type stuff. Just accept the chips as they fall. That's not the phrase. Cards as they fall. Yes. Just accept the cards as they fall. Okay. They didn't like me. I didn't do a great job. The end. This is the first time I've seen it. It's the first time everyone else has seen it too. Someone had bronchitis. And they did, in the judges' eyes, the people that are choosing, they did better than you. So the excuses are lame, and it makes me annoyed every time I hear them. Just accept it. Just accept that it wasn't your best and move forward.
Girls, I want to remind you what's at stake here. We're looking for a new Broadway star.
The 3 of you are here because you are not on the list.
Yeah, remind me one more time. Remind me what's at stake. What the fuck is this show called? What are we doing? Remind me. Tell me again. I need to hear it. I need to hear it one more time. Hey, and will you do me a favor? After this episode's over and I watch 4 more of them, will you tell me that same thing 10,000 more times just to make sure I really, really, really understand it? Can you do that for me? Please? Mr. Tesley? I keep fucking it up. I'm so sorry. But this show's so fucking repetitive. It's kind of crazy. You could cut out half of the length of this and you would be like, oh, I understand exactly what's happening still. Perfect.
I feel like you would make a very good swing and understudy.
I don't want to be the swing or the understudy.
Oh, yikes. Absolutely wrong thing to say. Oh my God. I get it. I really do. But that's like the work, you know? That's like doing the work. It seems like you don't want to do the work. It seems like you're just going to be famous. And I understand. But there's a lot of stuff that goes into that.
Yeah, but being an understudy or a swing is another chance for you to learn.
But that's not going to make me a Broadway star.
God damn. I can't believe she said that. I thought we all knew that, like, no matter how much you want to, like, be the lead in something, you should not look casting in the face and say, that's not going to make me a star. I can't think of a worse thing you could say in that moment. Oh my God, total wrong decision. If they weren't going to send her home already, that's not helping her.
No, it brought me back to that first day when we met that said, oh, this girl's really talented, but I don't see her as Elle.
Say it one more time. Hey, tell her one more time. Tell her one more time she could never be Elle Woods. Can y'all actually let her go this time? Free her? If we're going to say it this many times in this episode?
Was probably way too subtle for you guys to even see.
What part of you thinks that Legally Blonde is about being subtle?
Okay. I don't think she meant that negatively. When I first heard it, I too was like, oh shit, she's throwing shade. I don't think she was trying to. I think she was being like, I think it was kind of like an acceptance thing of like, I did it too subtle, and then we really got to bite back from that in a way that was like, oh, Christ, okay, shit, sorry. Ugh.
I had a bad day today.
Every day at the show, nobody's walking around being like, oh, I messed up, I had a bad day.
This is not the same. They keep making these like half-assed comparisons to like being in the show. This is not the same. This is the first time these people are seeing this material. Not to use the excuse Cassie just made for her defense in this realm, but like, you keep talking about these people that are doing the show 8 times a week and how they have it on lock. Yeah, because they have a full script in front of them and they are with the character 8 times a week. I don't like comparisons like that. I think they're silly. The whole point of casting someone and then going into a rehearsal process is that you rehearse and you fine-tune it there. That's what makes theater so different. That's the whole thing. Oh my God.
Selena, you're cut.
We just don't see you as Elle Woods.
I hate that for her. I really do. I'm sure that she really wanted it. I'm sure that she loves the role, and it might be a dream role for her. And I think that there is a future where she could play it. Not for these people, though. And I'm glad that she can be free and go pursue other things with people that will actually want her to be in something and see her talent for what it is. Because it's so subjective, and this was not the place for her. It's very evident from genuinely the very beginning. I think in the first episode, maybe, Heather said something about how she didn't see her as Elle Woods, and that never changed, and somehow we're halfway through, and she's been just shat on week after week for something she can't control.
Unfortunately, I have some more bad news. Things are a little bit different tonight. Not one, but 2 girls are going home tonight.
Twist. Why do I feel like they were supposed to do that the week before when they had 4 people down there for no reason? And they didn't. That is odd. Anyway, there's a second person going home. I bet I know exactly who it is, and I bet this is going to go really well when she gets told.
I was so pissed. I had taken every ounce of criticism that they had given me and I had applied it to myself. I worked my butt off and I was improving.
Okay. I understand that that is very frustrating, and I would probably share in your frustration if I was in your shoes. And you were improving, and I can see that, and I recognize that in you as well. Here's the thing. If this is a competition, and someone is going to get cast, and there are 5 other girls who already have most, if not all, of the things that are needed almost on lock, and just need a little bit of tweaking to get it where it needs to go, and you who are improving a lot, and very quickly too, but if you're still below that, then there's always going to be a better option, which doesn't mean they're better than you on a talent scale, but for this specific instance, it does kind of mean that. There are people that are better suited for this at this current point in time if you are still needing all of that to improve. And I'm glad that you did grow from this experience, and I think you'll continue to grow. I don't know what she's gone on to do. She is not hyperlinked on Wikipedia like some of the other ones, but I'm gonna look into all of them whenever I watch the reunion, which will not be in this video. I think I'm gonna do it as a separate video, really milk this for all that it's worth, you know? But I think that she is talented. I think that she just needs to figure her shit out. I think she needs to figure out who she is and probably go to therapy. But I think everyone should go to therapy. But she should extra, maybe. I feel a little stronger for her. I think she needs to unpack some stuff that's making her feel a certain type of way in her life. But what do I know? Not much. That's why I'm saying she should go to therapy so she can see someone who does know.
I don't feel like I really got a chance to show the judges exactly what I could bring to the role.
I think you had numerous chances, friend. I really think that that's a crazy thing to say. And with that, we are on to episode 5. Okay, midpoint check-in. I have finished editing all of the episodes down, so I do just want to take a second to amend some of the things I said about episode 4. First of all, while I still agree with most of my sentiments about Cassie, whether that be her attitude or the way all the other girls perceive her, I do just want to say, in that moment after the elimination where Selena confronts her, all of the girls definitely are ganging up on her and also are fully gaslighting her into thinking that every single one of them was there when that is simply not the case. Everything else I say I still stand by, but I do want to make it known that I understand that they were being very unfair and manipulative to her in that moment, and she did not deserve that. I also would like to take a second to say that Brian Telsey of the 3 judges does give good critique that can be useful to the girls going forward. I'm saying that right now because I realized as the night wore on, I became more and more short with how I felt about the judges because their part is very repetitive. But I do just want to say, no matter what I say in the coming episodes, I do think that Brian Telsey gives great advice. He does casting for a living. He is good at giving them critique that they will be able to take forward with them past this process and improve their performance with. The very last thing I would like to say is that I know that the level of frizz on my hair throughout that entire video, and probably this one too, is horrendous. And I can't do anything about it. My hair's so dry now. It didn't used to be this dry, and it got so dry after the Next One On situation. Maybe I'll make a video one day and I won't bring that up, but this is not that video. Also, I could not get this light to do what I wanted, so this looks like shit, but I just really want to be done with this. It's been weeks. It's been weeks of working on this. It's fine. Maybe this is moody and cool. It's not. It looks like shit, but it's fine. Anyway, on to episode 5. For some reason, the version of this that I found on the internet is clipped. It stops at 31 minutes in, so I don't actually know who got eliminated from this episode. It's at the beginning of episode 6, so I do know who was in the bottom and who went home, but not from this actual episode, so I'm going to just loop you in on that at the end, but I have no footage from that moment, and I don't know if any drama happened. But let's just get to that point and then go from there, because there's a decent amount of weird shit that happens in this episode. Hold on, that energy drink did nothing for me. I gotta go figure something out. I just yawned so bad during that intro, and that just kicked that. That's fun. Okay, hold on, give me a second. ASMR. I really almost choked on that for a second. That was almost really bad. Alright, let's fucking do this shit. Oh, God. Ugh. Okay. It's so fine. It's only 11 p.m.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my god.
Oh, man.
Autumn returns to the hotel room, apartment, whatever the fuck it is. Bailey does make a comment before she comes home that it probably would be best for her if Autumn went home because Autumn is some of her biggest competition. I think that that's probably not the best thing to say, but is fair and doesn't seem like it's coming from a place of malice. It seems like it's coming from a very practical place because I would agree with her. I think that Autumn is very big competition.
So the location is White Wave Dance Studio at John Ryan Theater in Brooklyn. Wow.
I woke up and I still felt sick, and it just made me really anxious because I don't want anything to get in my way at this point.
The mini challenge today is going to be dance related. Emma is still sick and they are all in their little dance athletic clothes and they are on their way to the studio to see what it is they will be learning. There are multiple of them that do not see dance as their strong suit. I empathize with them on a deep, deep level as I am the same exact way. All of them are better than me at it, though, so I applaud them for that.
He was there to help us with more of a hip-hop style. I was super excited because I think hip-hop is my forte.
I'm sorry, that's just really funny. That might be true. I'm not going to judge a book by its cover. But just hearing that voice say that was A+ comedy, intentional or not, and she might be great at it, I don't know. But I just really liked hearing it. It gave me joy.
7 and 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
You gotta put some aggression into your dance. You need to work harder.
This feels a little bit like a train wreck just watching it from far away and almost 10 years removed. Emma is blowing her nose and coughing the whole time. Lauren doesn't look like she's even doing anything that wrong, but the choreographer is like, you need to put more aggression into what you're doing, which I guess means be aggressive as he's being right now because holy shit, dude.
We got you some go-go boots with the 4-inch heel, right?
And then it's time for them to actually do the challenge. This was all just preliminary. And they all get matching identical pink go-go boots, and then they take all of them outside to a cobblestone street in New York City because they want to they want to replicate what it's like to perform on a Broadway stage, because there are like cords and wires and tracks for different set pieces that come on and off on an automated system. And I understand the thought behind that, but I still think it's a little ridiculous. What if you took them to a stage? It's like New York in the winter. One of these girls is deathly ill. It's so funny to me. Okay. All right. Let's continue. They made that poor man drag his whole drum kit out there for this. I hope he was fairly compensated. I'm sure he was not.
I was really struggling to catch my breath. I started to get a little worried.
Emma is actively dying while they are doing this. It's just crisp, thin-ass, cold, frigid air that burns someone who isn't sick's lungs right up if they're outside in it, but then on someone with bronchitis.
Once we started dancing and we had the music outside, I felt like I was really in a music video, so I sort of felt like a superstar.
That strategy works out well for Natalie. She is the winner of the challenge. She gets to pick one other girl to go with her. She chooses Rhiannon, and the prize is a restorative yoga session. I don't know why. With Kate Shindle, who plays Vivian in Legally Blonde the musical on Broadway.
So remember, after your next audition, one of you will be going home.
Hey, remember. Hey. Remember, this is a competition and one of you's going home. Did you forget? They hadn't reminded you in about 45 seconds, so I just want to make sure you remember that this is a competition and someone's going to go home and someone's going to win a prize. Someone's going to become Elle Woods. Everyone else is going to go home. Just so you know, that's the way that this show is formatted. Don't forget. They're going to tell you again in 45 seconds. Do you think you can remember it that long? All of these mini challenge prizes are not created equal, because some weeks it's like meeting the actor you will be working with on stage. And then the other weeks it's like getting your nails done with Orphe, yoga with Kate Shindle, which is still good, and I'm sure that they are giving them worthwhile advice that they will carry with them forever. But it's not really an advantage in the competition, I would say. But again, the people that have the advantages in the competition tend to always end up in the bottom that very same week. So maybe this is for the best, that they're just doing restorative yoga and not chatting with someone they'll be performing with.
Were there ever like times where you were unsure of yourself? And
yeah, if you stop being unsure of yourself, you're probably not challenging yourself enough. So uncertainty is good. It also like lets you sort of ride that edge of adrenaline and excitement that makes a really good performance.
Damn, that's good. I'm gonna tattoo that behind my eyelids. Holy shit. Okay. Damn. Yep. Hey, that was a good one, Kate Shindle. That was good. I'm so fucking tired. Oh my god. Okay. Woo! Rally, rally, rally. It's time to rally. Time to rally. Oh my fucking god, I'm tired.
We're going to learn part of positive, right? All of you will have the opportunity to play Elle in this, which means that there are 6 different configurations that we need to learn this dance in, right? So put on your thinking caps and spread out.
This is actually very challenging because they are learning 6 different tracks for this audition combination, and the thought of that makes me want to kill myself because I can't even fucking learn one. So they're each going to take turns. One of them will be Elle, and then they'll kind of rotate out from that stance. They also do another little round of psychological warfare with this one.
Oh, guys, that's the end of rehearsal. The rehearsal tonight was cut short to challenge them.
Once they're like an hour into the rehearsal, which considering how many different configurations they have to learn, I'm sure that everyone's only done it like once. They cut the rehearsal early just because. Because in the real world, sometimes there's scheduling conflicts. Okay? That's not what these like little tests are fucking obnoxious. I don't get it. It's not at all. These are not people that have booked these roles. These are people that are auditioning. Anyway, I'm beating a dead horse. the horse has already been dead. I am digging it up out of its grave and beating it all over again, but it's so fine. Basically, I think that the thought process behind a lot of these decisions is not sound. And I don't think it's really trying to be sound. I think they're trying to make good TV, but they keep trying to justify it in a way that's like, no, this is how this would work in the theater industry. No, the fuck it's not. You don't have to do that. Just admit that you want it to be entertaining and you're trying to make it extra fucked and challenging because of it. That's fine for you to say.
I can definitely do it in these shoes, cuz. What's that? Well, there's a call sheet for us.
I know I have said this or that has been psychological warfare as a bit of a joke a couple times, but the show is actively committing psychological warfare at this point. They slipped something under the girl's door that is like, tell us who you think is the worst singer, the worst dancer, who would sabotage, who should have already been sent home.
Lauren actually thought that the questionnaire was against her personally.
I feel like you guys have put me down for every answer in this question. I'm obviously the heaviest person here. I'm obviously the weakest dancer on this list. And I just feel like this is like directed for them to make that.
No. They're all literally fucking crying. It's so obvious that this is like a moral test of character or whatever to see if they'll actually do it or not. But they don't ever bring this back up in the context of the show. Like, it's not like they go to the judges that night and all of the judges are like, we gave you that list of questions as a test and you all passed because you changed it and you refused to do it and you all have the spirit of Elle Woods inside you. And that's what we wanted to see. No. It's never mentioned. They just, like, have them all locked in that room, make them cry a lot, and then say, okay, yay, good job, here's a cookie. Except they don't even get a fucking cookie, they get nothing. Literally, they are all so upset. More than one of them is crying. At least two that I remember cry their eyes out over this.
First of all, I want a pen to rewrite these questions. So I just decided that there was a way to handle this that was so much more positive.
Autumn is the one who actually takes charge and rewrites everything to make it in the spirit of Elle Woods. I think that's very good of her. This is obviously what they wanted to have happen. They never mention it though. That's the thing that I find so fucking bizarre. Unless it's in the last 10 minutes of this episode that I can't find anywhere. But I have no record of them ever actually bringing this back up. So it's like literally for nothing.
Most improved dancer. I put Lauren because I watched you dance at the first audition and I watched you dance today. And just to see your confidence level go from here to through the roof was just so amazing to watch.
That's so sweet. Why did that make me teary? That's so nice. See, Cassie, this is what you were missing when you said you don't know how to talk to girls. Stupidest thing to say in the fucking world, by the way. That's so kind. Okay. It's really late at night. I'm gonna hit play.
It's kind of ironic that this week our audition is to the song Positive. You can't let these things get you down and take something bad and turn it into good.
Yeah, it's really ironic. It's almost like it was completely orchestrated by the production team. I'm not over it. I think this is fucking insane. And it's for nothing. That's what really gets me. They made them do all this and then they said, okay, did y'all have fun? No, we all cried our eyes out. Ah, damn, bummer. Sorry. Ah, fuck. Well, come do this dance combination, please.
I would rather walk through hot coals than do a dance audition.
Me too, girl. Me too. And would genuinely do it. If someone looked at me and said, you can have this part that you really, really have always wanted to play, and you don't have to do a dance audition for it if you walk over these hot coals right now, I think I'd fucking do it. And I don't even know if I'm joking. I think I might not be. I really hate them. They really make me want to die a little bit. Like, there's nothing that makes me feel worse about myself than going to a dance call. And it's like a humiliation ritual I do with myself if I go to them, because I know what's gonna happen to me when I'm in there. I'm completely unprepared. I have no idea what any of that shit means. And they're saying this stuff, and I'm like, okay. Yeah, for sure. I do sometimes still go to an audition that has a dance call, but I just have to like hope and pray that maybe the director will have like a sneezing fit while I'm doing my combination, so he will have his eyes closed half of the time and won't see how bad I'm doing. Can't really sneeze with your eyes open, so I wish a sneezing fit on the director every time I'm at a dance call, is what I'm saying.
You remember your judges?
Wait, real quick, you need to be reminded who the fucking judges of this competition are again.
I want to remind you guys what's at stake here. We're down to the final 6, and one of you will be starring as Elle Woods in Legally Blonde, the musical. As you know,
I just want to remind you one more time. These women are competing to be Elle Woods. If you forget, you can look at the title of the show, but also you won't have to because they will tell you again in 45 seconds.
You looked like you were thinking at the end.
Yes.
That's tiring.
I have bronchitis. Having trouble breathing.
Oh.
I gotta say, for me, I honestly thought you weren't gonna be able to get through it. Whether it's exhaustion, whether you're sick, all of those things are all good reasons, but they're not good enough.
I hate this fucking line of thinking. It's so rampant in the theater industry. It might be the whole entertainment industry, but I hear it the most in theater-related things. Who cares if you're sick? You should. That's changed a little bit since there was a huge pandemic that killed a bunch of fucking people. They're kind of a little better about that now than they were before. That's all it took, you know? But they're like, it looked like you were having trouble breathing. And she's like, yeah, I was having trouble breathing. They're like, should have breathed better then. Thank you for the note. Very helpful.
I thought Emma did a really great job. I really have no idea what the judges are even thinking.
I concur, Natalie. This is a crazy line of... She didn't even mess up really bad or anything. They literally were like, you looked like you were kind of out of breath there at the end. And she was like, yeah, I'm out of breath. They're like, oh, have you tried not being out of breath? I'll remember that for next time. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. You got it. Next time, breathe better. Cool.
For a girl who was, literally hit it out of the ballpark last week, I was a little disappointed.
Okay, well, last week they were doing something completely different. Some of these comments are really asinine to me. I'm sorry. God, last week when you were acting and singing, you were fantastic. You're one of my favorites. And then this week, you were doing a completely different activity, and I didn't like it as much. Why? I think maybe just like as it goes on, it's kind of like, what else can I possibly say? I think I've said it all already, but we're having to, instead of cutting all of these people at once, just harp on the little things that they aren't as great at over and over again until it's finally time to send them away. And so then you get shit like this, where it's like, did we need to have that verbalized? I think that might have been innately understood by most people.
I'm feeling exhausted and underprepared, so I think that was a little bit of what showed.
It's, like you said, it's not your strong suit.
It can't be about excuses, I didn't know the choreography, or I'm tired, or whatnot. You just gotta, hit it out of the ballpark.
Oh.
So Autumn does her audition. She gets some more very unhelpful shit said to her. What else is new? And then she runs out of the room and throws up. Which, honestly, she said in the middle of her combination, she started feeling like she was going to throw up. When I just watched this right now for the second time, I can't see that on her face at all, so I think she did a fucking fantastic job. I don't care what anybody else says. I had no idea that was happening. You could tell that she kind of was losing steam a lot towards the end, but like face-wise, no clue. Didn't look like it at all. And I commend her for that. They all were up. I don't know how late they were up, but there was a timestamp when they were rehearsing the dance earlier, and it was like after midnight, and they had just started rehearsing that dance because they only got an hour. So I'm sure they all barely slept and probably aren't eating enough, and I'm sure there's just like a cacophony of bullshit happening around them at all times for this show. And I think that would make anybody throw up. Then a camera follows her into the bathroom and you get to hear her throwing up in the bathroom. Actually, I'm sure it's an added sound effect because they love to do that.
Sorry.
Autumn, you okay?
I'm just really embarrassed.
No, hey, this is life. Dennis, why don't you grab a chair?
Yeah,
Why don't
yeah,
you sit
yeah.
out on him and
I'm
just
so
watch.
sorry.
I think this is very common when you're not one of the performers and you're on the other side of the table. I've watched this happen firsthand, so I do feel very confident in what I'm saying at the moment. You kind of forget what it's like to have to be like the human being who's fully offering themselves up to you in an audition once you're on the other side of the table. I have witnessed this happen. I haven't done it. I'm very cognizant of it. I've been on the other side of the table and I know what it feels like and I refuse to perpetuate it. I'm also like not doing it that often, so that might be why I can hang on to it better, but I have watched switches flip in people when they go from performer to director and see how different it is and how almost like mean they become. It's like the people that are in front of them stop becoming people almost. It's honestly a little unsettling. I don't like it whenever I witness it. It makes me feel differently about the person after I see it happen. I think that this is a little bit of an example of that. You know, they're all up there auditioning and someone's like, I have bronchitis. And they're like, who fucking cares? And she's like, I'm just like really exhausted and I really don't feel good. And they're like, okay, do it anyway. But then she gets off the stage and she literally throws up in the bathroom and comes back and is like on the verge of tears. And she's like, I'm sorry, I'm really embarrassed. And like, oh no, it's okay. Hey, don't worry about it. That's life. Was it not life 5 minutes ago? Was it not life when they were just saying it? Something like really detrimental needed to happen physically for you to give a shit about what they were saying? I don't understand that. It really upsets me. All of the other complaints that I could have that are in that realm, insert them here. There's just, that attitude is so rampant and, you know, you experience it and then you think, I don't want anyone else to ever experience that at my hand. So if I'm ever doing something on the production side of things, I am 100% not going to do that. And make a conscious effort to make sure that everyone that I'm working with who's performing is heard. But not everyone feels that way. Some people genuinely just like forget when it's not them. And I don't really understand how. I'm really glad I'm not that way. I don't know. This might sound like I'm being like really pretentious. I'm not trying to be. It's just something that I'm very passionate about and it drives me crazy every time I see it happen. I don't even know where the fuck I was going with that. None of that is usable, probably. But it's late at night, and I've had too much caffeine, and I still have so much left of this. So, let's continue. Okay, Natalie starts doing her combination. They're about to start giving her their critique. I don't know if it's going to be good or bad, because that's exactly where this episode cuts off. So, what I learned from the recap at the beginning of the next episode is that Emma and Autumn are chosen for the bottom two. There's not a bottom three. It's just the two of them. Honestly, this is good because I get to skip that whole part where they say everyone's name 5,000 times. But they are chosen for the bottom two. They go down into the casting office. I don't know if anything dramatic happened or if anything weird, crazy, out of pocket was said. I don't have access to that information. But Emma is the one that ends up going home. So the two people that were physically ill while they were doing it are the two people that had to go down, and then one of them goes home. I'm saying it like that, but it makes sense. I think of everyone left anyway, those were the two weakest dancers in general, so I don't think that being at tip-top shape would have really done them that much better. I'm saying that as an incredibly weak dancer, it wouldn't make that much of a difference if I was super sick or not. I would still be bad at it. And they're much better than I am. They're both good at it, at least. I'm piss poor, terrible, can't remember a single thing. I'm not exaggerating. It's terrible. I know this about myself, and I move accordingly now. But that's how it ends. Emma goes home, and it's now time for episode 6. There are 5 contestants left, and this is the makeover episode.
You said multiple times, I am not going home today.
I won't go home today. No, I refuse to go home today.
You are basically saying someone else absolutely does.
I was honestly so scared that I was going to be in that bottom 3, and I was like, if I say it, maybe it'll be true.
That was one of the most insensitive things to do.
Autumn, I like you a lot, but that is a stretch. You need to go to bed. You have thrown up today. Y'all barely slept. You need to sleep. You think everybody hates you right now? It's time to sleep. Now it's time for episode 6, which starts with a makeover. An essential staple of every 2000s reality TV show. And there's 5 contestants left. 3 of them are blonde. 2 of them are brunettes. Exactly what you think is about to happen happens.
Call sheet for Legally Blonde the musical. Our call time is 9 o'clock, and its location at the John Beret Salon at Bergdorf.
I knew it! Oh, this better be good. We don't even think we're getting makeovers. Oh no, we're going blonde.
Ready, girls?
This is so crazy, man. Y'all ain't never heard of a wig? If the people casting this need them all to be blonde to figure it out, I don't know what are we doing? This is a false pretense. You just wanted to put a makeover episode in the show. This is crazy. Oh my god.
Blondes have more fun. Yeah,
So Autumn, Natalie, what do you think? Are you making the move to blonde?
Absolutely! Bring it on! What if they said no? I would fucking say no. Send me home. The bleach jobs they get are not that great.
And I was a little bit worried because they keep giving them comments that they can't see them as Elle, so I thought maybe this would erase those comments.
It feels like that's what this actually is a test of. Is it the fact that they're brunette that's keeping the judges from seeing them as Elle? I've never heard anyone say that to Autumn, though. I've only heard them say it to Natalie, which makes me think that it's not the hair. It makes me really scared that they're gonna dye somebody's hair and then immediately send them home. Can you think of anything worse that could possibly happen?
I've grown really attached to my hair. It's kind of like one of my prized possessions. And,
It's been long for a long time, and like to feel it, and it's like not all the way there. It's just really tough.
Bailey got just a very small color change and a light trim, and she started crying over that, and I was shocked. I thought her hair looked practically the same.
This is definitely an over-exaggeration, but people feel attached to different things about themselves. It really isn't that different. Since this is the second time I'm watching it, I was like looking at her hair before more to see. It's really barely noticeable. But to her, who looks at herself in the mirror every single day and sees her hair a certain length, that's probably huge. And I think this must have been a very formative experience for her, because at least while I still lived there, she is a hairstylist in Anderson now. That's not a spoiler for this show. I want you to remember that it's been like almost 20 years, and that has no bearing on how this show ends, because almost 20 years has passed. But she must have really been like, I will never make anyone else feel the way that I felt that day in New York when they cut 2 inches off my hair, and she said, I'm going to be a hairstylist. I think she's a very good one, from what I've heard. I think I had a mutual friend who went to her, if I remember correctly. Bailey, next time I'm in Anderson, let's meet up. I think that you're hilarious and very cool.
Oh my god. It's amazing. You are like so transformed.
A drop of toner, please. That's some very brassy blonde hair. Whew. I'm glad she likes it, though. But I think they could have tried a little bit harder at that salon if it's supposed to be so legendary to make her hair not look a little pinky orange. Would that have been so hard? So they've had their makeovers. That wasn't the actual challenge. The challenge is they're going to do a photo shoot, and the photographer and the PR person that worked for whatever PR firm does Legally Blonde is going to pick their favorite photo from the day, and that's who wins the challenge. When they get to the studio, Laura Bell Bundy is there again. She talks to them a lot more than she did that first time because now there's only 5 of them, so they're more worthy of her presence. I'm joking, but also am I.
What's the most important thing that you've taken from her message and her spirit?
Well, I think spirit is the word.
Okay.
You know, it inspired. I became more true to myself. You know, there was like I get emotional thinking about it. It's been the best experience of my life.
They have a really wonderful conversation with Laura Bell Bundy. She gets a bit emotional talking about what she learned from the character of Elle Woods. I really like Laura Bell Bundy, and I really like this conversation that they have. I think it's a very important one, and I think that it's one of the most earnest things that's happened on this show so far, and I'm glad that they included it. So all of the girls are put into identical dresses and shoes, and then they get to pick their own little accessories, and they will be choosing based off the photos they produce who wins the challenge. The prize for this mini challenge is lunch with Andy Carl, who is the understudy for Emmett. Christian Borle said, "Do not sign me up for that. I do not want to do that," which honestly I respect. I mean, and Andy Carl will be performing with them later. That's why it's the advantage. So it kind of makes sense that he wouldn't, because he has to sing that so many times a week. So then he has to sing it 5 more times on like a random fucking Tuesday with these girls. I understand. It's just a little bit funny that everyone else in the main cast is like present and accounted for, and Christian Borle has been nowhere to be found, and he said, "Please send my understudy. I do not want to go do that." Since there's only 5 of them left, there also is no longer like bringing an extra person along for your challenge win, but the judges really like Natalie's photo. She stood up on the books, which was very different, and she wins the competition and gets to have the lunch with Andy Carl. Andy Carl is the understudy at this point, but he has gone on to do a lot of other things. He's been in multiple things. The thing that instantly comes to mind that I can remember this late at night, and I don't know why, because this isn't a show that I'm particularly attached to, but I know that he was in the Groundhog Day musical. He played whatever Bill Murray's character's name is. I do not know. I really don't know if I've ever seen that movie all the way through. But he was that character.
Natalie was extremely creative. I totally gives props to her. But then Bailey got the honorable mention.
Yeah, okay, yes, this is something else. So they give Bailey the honorable mention because she used a shot that was similar to one they used for like the poster for the Legally Blonde musical, which is this right here. Autumn is not a fan of the fact that she is given honorable mention when all that she did was what already existed. Honestly, I tend to agree. That's not Bailey's fault that she was chosen as the honorable mention. But yeah, she didn't really do anything special. They said that she really grounded herself in it from the beginning, and that was a good first choice. But like, I don't think that should have been the honorable mention. But really, honorable mention is something that these girls have made up. It has no bearing on the competition. It's just like, the judges also said they liked this girl a lot, and that makes me upset that they didn't say that they liked me a lot, which is valid, but not real.
You'll be singing the musical's signature song, the ballad Legally Blonde, with Andy Carl.
The audition is going to be them singing the title song. It's a duet between Elle and Emmett. It's called Legally Blonde. It's honestly a beautiful song. This is a great show. Anyone who doesn't think this is a great show is just like put off by the fact that it's based on a well-known property that already exists. This show is fantastically written. It is very well done, and the songs are superb. And I will not hear any contradictory opinions on the matter, because it's almost midnight, and I am allowed to have strong opinions close to midnight, because I will turn into a werewolf then. I don't know why the fuck I need to go to bed. I have 2 more full episodes of this to watch. Oh my god. Okay. No, this is so fine. No, this is really fine and good. No, I only need to go pick up groceries at like 8 in the morning and then make all my food in the week and then make a full charcuterie board for a Pride and Prejudice picnic tomorrow. I haven't finished the book, by the way. I'm in a very overwhelming phase of my life, but the book thing will be over tomorrow. So I think I'm gonna listen to the audiobook while I do everything I need to do in the morning. This isn't fucking important. I need to finish this. Oh my god. As far as in the order of operations for the musical, the song takes place after she gets hit on by Callahan and she decides to leave the internship and Emmett tries to stop her. It's such a beautiful song. I love this song from this show. I also really love Take It Like a Man. I think that song is very underappreciated. I really like it. It's a very sweet duet.
Hey, Natalie.
I'm Natalie.
Yeah, Andy Carl. Did it transform, like, everything? Did you just, all of a sudden you're a blonde, you're like, oh, I can see it now?
I did bump into a few walls on the way here.
These girls make a lot of blonde jokes and seem to not understand the point of the musical. I must say, this is not a slight against her. They all have kind of done it a little bit. Even the ones who like are naturally blonde, or at least were blonde coming into the competition. And I don't get that. Considering what you're here for, I don't get the making the blonde jokes. I think that's the whole point. It's like in the first episode when the writer was like, do you buy that girl would get into Harvard? I think that's the point of the fucking show that you wrote. What the fuck? I think y'all are crazy.
I have an advantage over the other girls because I had a chance to sit down with Andy and talk to him. And more importantly, I had a chance to sort of break the ice.
If you're wondering if the advantage curse will apply, I cannot confirm nor deny if that is true. Yes. Yes, she does. Yes. Spoiler. Yes.
Oh,
wow, amazing.
There's no red flag.
Amazing. Do the curtains match the carpet? Wow, bravo.
Hey, Seth Rudetsky, that was crazy. Hey, so that was insane. What possessed you? It was a little funny. You're also very obviously a gay man, so it's not like threatening, but you know. It wasn't my favorite thing you've ever said.
Legally blonde.
So what's all the crying about?
You know what it is? I associate these auditions with the chance of not being able to perform.
But you've got to say, but this is my amazing 3 minutes. The show is those 3 minutes.
Yeah.
So just be like, I'm doing an amazing 3 minute show, and that's it. It's not about getting to the next level.
That's really good, actually. I need to process that at a time which I do not feel like my eyeballs are half closed and I'm actively falling asleep, is what I need to do.
Not up to me. Just let me be. Legally blonde.
Everyone gets really emotional while rehearsing this song, which has really good things attached to it. I think that it's important to be emotionally connected to what you're doing. Duh. But also, a musical is different than like a play. And for the very obvious reason that you're thinking of the singing. If your voice starts going weird wonky while you're just like straight acting, okay, your voice goes weird wonky. If your voice goes weird wonky when you're singing, uh-oh. That's a problem. That's a problem. Because there's a song happening, right? I think there's like a happy medium there of, you know, emotion where you can tell that it's affecting the voice. But then there's also when you are completely overtaken by emotion and actually really crying. I think that's what you can't do in a musical. You cannot be actually really crying up there because your whole throat's going to seize up and it's over. You're going to squeak. It's not going to happen for you. And this song is so important and so integral to the plot of the show. You cannot be misunderstood. And it needs to still sound good enough. And if you're fully sobbing, crying, it's not going to do that. And that's a universal truth. But every single one of them does it during this rehearsal, and you can hear it, and it sounds so painful. Because their throat's tightening up so bad and they're squeezing, and every time I hear it, I'm like, oh God. But I'm glad that they all understand like the emotions connected to this song. I feel like that's something they have not really covered at all in this show yet, which is bizarre because it's almost over. And that's, you know, the The acting through song thing is kind of a very major thing. That's kind of the big part of it, and they have not really hammered that home. And they're also not telling them to rein it in a little bit and find a place where they can sing well and show that emotion. They're kind of just like, yeah, you should fucking get up there and cry.
And so it's like that last line is just so real.
That's good stuff. That's great stuff to mine, to use.
Don't tell them that. Don't tell them that.
You know, there are a lot of Broadway stars I know who say they are terrible auditioners. I mean, a lot of people I know, so it's a really common thing.
I hate doing it. I black out. I'm currently not auditioning for musicals because I care about them too much and I get like attached to the idea of being in one, and then when it doesn't happen, it's like extra crushing. I don't have that with any other like medium of the entertainment industry, just musicals. I want it too bad. I care about it too much. I need to take a break until I figure that shit out, because it's just like so sad every time to me, and that is not sustainable.
And one of you will be on Broadway as the next Elle Woods.
Hey, one of them's gonna win this competition. Don't forget. Don't forget.
Laugh with my friends when I arrive. We'll drop the top and just drive.
That was genuinely fantastic. She did so amazing at that. And she didn't let her emotions completely get the best of her. She let it out a little bit at the end. It did not choke her up completely. That was probably the best thing I've seen on the entirety of this show as it has progressed through these 6 episodes that I have watched so far. That was like spot on perfect. I loved everything about that. Okay. The other ones are all fine. Everyone does that same part. No one necessarily stands out as bad. They do mention that they're kind of losing faith in like Rhiannon's ability to vocally carry the part.
Don't stray beyond. Some girls fight hard, some face the trial.
I found that comment a little confusing because I don't know if you recall, but in episode 1, she was really struggling to get out that last big note in So Much Better, and that was when I made the comment about how she sounded so tense and tight in her throat, and it was making me feel weird in my throat just listening to it. So that's really not new information. I think it's just information we forgot because we haven't really had to do a big, bold singing challenge for the entirety of this thing, which again is crazy because it's a musical. Don't get me wrong, there's been other parts where they've been singing, but it's been songs that aren't as vocally demanding as So Much Better or this big ballad.
Some girls fight hard, some face the trial, some girls were just meant to smile.
Legally blonde.
Bailey does make some interesting acting choices in this that I don't necessarily get. She kind of smiles at the end a little bit, and I think that's really misplaced here, but it's still very good. She still did a very good job. Everyone does a very good job. I mean, it's the top 5. At this point, everyone's fantastic at what they do. They all just have different strengths and weaknesses.
You are the best thing about this place.
Hell, you should know.
Callahan hit on me.
Today was like the first time I'm starting to honestly feel like it's just not Elle.
It's very possible that I could be going to the casting office. You know, now I have blonde hair, like, I hope it was worth it.
Oh my god, I didn't think about that. They just, like, changed her whole hair color yesterday, and now it's like, okay, bye. Have fun being fucking blonde. Here's a nice daily reminder of what you didn't get as you look in the mirror every day until your hair is not so brittle that you can dye it back without it falling out of your head.
Girls, I know this process can be really tough. But the good news is that one of you 5 will be starring on Broadway as Elle Woods in Legally Blonde.
Okay, it's list time. Everybody take a snack break.
Girls, the judges have given me the list. Remember, if your name is on the list, you're doing something right, and you get to continue in this competition.
Okay, that's a little more bearable when there's less people. It's a much shorter segment of the show. Okay, so the bottom 3 are Bailey. This is her first time in the bottom 3. Natalie and Rhiannon. I think that makes sense based on what we saw today. I think I know who's going home. And I hate that she did that to her hair before she left. Holy shit, I can't believe they did that to her.
It's my first time to head up to the casting office.
Oh, it's also Natalie's first time in the casting office. Sorry. Y'all, I'm fading. I need to rally. After this one, I'm gonna have to take a minute and rally. Ooh, holy shit. Oh my god. Put my hair in these fun pigtails so I would feel inspired by the Legally Blondness and it would keep me going, but it's not working.
I mean, the judges said they didn't see me as Elle Woods, even with the blonde hair. I don't know what else I can do.
I feel really bad for her. They dyed her hair and everything and acted like that was gonna help them make the decision when I guarantee you they knew for the past 3 weeks that they were never going to cast her in this role. I hate that for her. I hate that for her. That's so cruel. That is honestly so cruel. There have obviously been 4 people that were near the top the whole time. We've just been slowly whittling away at that. And they knew damn well that it was not going to be her. And they still said, oh my god, let's have her dye her hair. They did not have to do that. That's so sad.
I know deep down inside, this is a battle with myself, and this is merely a competition with myself rather than with others at this point.
I think that shows a lot of growth from her because near the beginning she kind of was making some passive-aggressive comments about her competition. And I think that was they were very wise.
Natalie, you're cut. We just don't see you as the next Elle Woods on Broadway.
All right, so Natalie is unfortunately the one who gets sent home. I know I've said this already, but I really genuinely do hate that for her. That's so shitty. Oh my god. They just dyed her hair. I can't get over it. I'm gonna though, because I want to be done with this. Okay, episode 7. Last two. Let's go. Rally. Oh, fuck. Oh, shit. This fucking deal, it moved. I'm losing it a little bit. It's 1:15 a.m. Can we... Woo! Who's gonna be Elle Woods? Let's see. Oh my god, I feel drunk. Oh, they look stunned. That is a humbling experience, I'm sure.
I'm not in the mood to be around Autumn and Lauren because those guys got either second chances or third chances and Natalie didn't get one. It just makes me almost like angry that Autumn and Lauren didn't go home.
I'm gonna need you to run that logic by me again. How the fuck does that make sense? You also were down there multiple times, weren't you? Was she? Am I wrong? You'd think I'd remember. I watched all of them today. But me at noon is much different than me at 1 a.m. No, she definitely was down there more than once, so she should also be mad at herself, I guess, in this situation. The only person that was the first time down there was Bailey. So, I guess she's the only one getting off scot-free in this situation.
Please, just let this be over with.
Boo-hoo! You went to the casting office for the first time. I'm really sorry that you got told that maybe you don't have what it takes. You're just not quite there yet. You're 19!
So something that starts happening in these last 2 episodes is that Autumn gets a little hung up on the fact that she is in her late 20s. She's 28. There was 2 girls that were 28 at the beginning. She was one of the oldest in the competition. She starts harping on this a lot and about how all the other girls are like between 18 and 20. I understand, and I think it's valid that she feels that way, But that sentence that she just said was wild. Like, that had nothing to do with you, and she's so angry about it. Whew. She's allowed to be upset that she had to almost be eliminated. I don't know how to tell you that. I know you were also upset when it happened to you. So I feel for you, and I hope that you find great, amazing success. But it is not any of these girls' fault that they are 18 to 20 years old. They didn't ask to be born the year they were born. That's just what happened to them.
I don't understand why Rhiannon's here and Natalie and Emma aren't. She bombed the dancing. She bombed the singing. It's a musical. If you don't have the voice to sing a Broadway musical and you're considered a clumsy dancer, you should not be here over someone who is experienced and is talented in every aspect of musical theater.
Here's the thing. She's not wrong. And that's kind of what the issue is when you get this far into the competition. There's no real cattiness left. Everyone is pretty highly talented. So all the critiques they're making of each other, everyone is right. Because none of these people are perfect. It's impossible to be a perfect performer. Everyone has different strengths and weaknesses, and they have all been around each other long enough that they can easily pinpoint what each person's is. And I would agree with her that of these four, Rhiannon is substantially weaker than the others. And I don't necessarily think Natalie should have gone home over her. I just was not surprised when that happened because the judges kept doing that thing they were doing to Selena right before they eliminated her, where they kept saying, I just don't know if I see you as Elle Woods, which means you will be going home soon.
Today's workshop focuses on being a triple threat performer.
What the... Okay, it looks like the mini challenge is taking place in a McDonald's play place. That's what I'm getting from the backdrop there. It's just a gym. It's fucking stupid. The purpose of their mini challenge this week is to evaluate who is the most triple threat-y of the four of them. I'm losing my ability to speak in coherent English. Send help. They're working with the two dance captains of the show, and they're doing a bunch of different little things that are wholly unimportant to see who has the ability to kind of weave all of those things together the best, because Elle is truly a triple threat character. A lot of singing, a lot of acting, a lot of dancing. It isn't true for some newer shows on Broadway now, but she is an example of a very almost old school style thing where all three of those things must be incredibly strong. I'm so surprised Sutton Foster never played Elle Woods. That just seems like it fits her niche of like quirky and tap dances a couple times. That sounded like shade, and I really truly did not mean it that way. It is simply a fact about roles that Sutton Foster normally plays. I can't believe she's dating Hugh Jackman. We're not going into that. We're not going into that. That whole thing is fucking insane, and I felt like my worlds collided when I found out it was happening.
This exercise is about being able to act while being physically active. And to add a little twist, I'm going to toss you up into a lift while you say your line.
The Delta Nu sorority and...
Why would you lie about being in the shower?
What this mini challenge tells me is that they have officially run out of ideas, and they are so glad that it's almost over, because this is the most nothing burger mini challenge. It's like... It feels like when you're little and you're like doing like fake pretend plays with your cousins in the back room of your grandma's house. I'm speaking from years of experience here. And you're making up these little rules where it's like, and what if we were orphans and it's World War II and we're in England? That was me and my two cousins go to orphans in World War II England. You'd think we were fucking Pavinskis. But instead of it being like World War II orphans, it's, and then in the middle of the monologue, what if I lifted you up super high in the air? That's that's the whole thing. And they're like, okay, now we're gonna dance and we're gonna do this and we're gonna do that, and it's like putting together the Christmas play with your cousins. Is this a universal experience? You can interchange it with siblings if you have them. I'm an only child, so Fucking go have siblings somewhere else. I'm just kidding. This isn't an only child's exclusive channel, but it's a different existence. That's for sure.
Girls, let's get some pom-poms. We're gonna cheer it.
Is this what summer camp's like? This feels like summer camp. Please comment below. I don't think I ever went to summer camp. Wait, hold on. I don't really have a very concrete memory of the first 18 to 20 years of my life, but I feel like once I said that, I had a very vague thing scratching in the corner of my mind of a single image of a heart stuffed animal going between the different cabins. Did I go to summer camp? Hold on, I need to text my parents about this, but it's 1:30 in the morning, so that's not gonna happen. I will report back in the edit.
I love Autumn. I think Autumn's doing great. I think her acting is great. Her comedic timing's great. Her voice is great. I think she all around is doing a great job with this piece.
This is why I really like Lauren. I feel like she keeps it incredibly real. Like, she's not dogging on anyone for the sake of dogging on them. And you can tell because she also was just very complimentary to Autumn. But last night she was like, I think that girl should probably not be here. And I respect that honesty, and I respect her ability to see things very objectively, because I think both of those things are not necessarily wrong.
As far as tabbing is concerned, you don't have to do anything too crazy.
As a non-dancer, let me just tell you that the second you're at a dance audition and whoever is teaching it goes, now this isn't going to be too crazy, get ready for a fucking ride. You are going to feel like you have taken a trip to Timbuktu and back by the time you come around. It's crazy. You're about to hear the most ridiculous stuff that makes no sense to you. It's probably not ridiculous at all, but they're just like, yeah, do a fucking flapple, ball change, poopy doop. And then you're going to turn into a riff rap dip that pollywop and come back to front and do the whole thing over again. Easy peasy, right?
Ready and spank hop, step, flap, spank hop, step, flap.
Was I fucking lying? I wasn't.
Tap dancing is definitely a gift. You have it or you don't.
I don't think that's necessarily true. I think that trying to learn it in your 20s is when it's like, I needed to be doing this since I was 5, or it's not going to happen to me. That's what I've had to come to terms with, and I think Autumn might need to also come to terms with that. You have needed to be doing this for years for you to get it at this point. The neuroplasticity, shot to hell. It's not going to happen for you at this point. We have to come to terms with that as people in our 20s who are still trying to make it. You have to know when that's just something that's done and over with.
I was going to have Rusty Michelle pick a stand-up performer from today, but unfortunately, there is no stand-up performer.
The winner of the mini challenge is there is no winner because it wasn't a fucking challenge. They just horsed around for 2 hours straight. So who would be winning what in this scenario? They do get told that they have all earned a nice little fancy dinner in the loft. It's really not that fancy. And they get to know what their last audition will be before the final, which is doing the big dance number in the middle of What You Want that is like 5 different styles of dance. It's incredibly challenging, but it's also so very fun. This obviously makes Autumn and Lauren very nervous because they are not as much dancers as Bailey and Rhiannon are.
Oh, there's this beautiful table setting with 4 perfect little face settings.
I did something more intricate than that table setting for my friend's birthday party 2 years ago, and I guarantee I was on a tighter budget than that. I'm gonna show you, oh my god, look, isn't this so cute? I spent fucking a week straight on this. I made those tablecloths. Isn't that so cute? Anyway, nothing to do with anything. This is one of those things where you get to know me on a more personal level, and it's not just about the content, because who can think about content when it's almost 2 in the morning? You know, if I shut the fuck up and just watched this like I was supposed to, this would be over a lot sooner.
So after our salads, we got this great chicken dish. We also got some beautiful desserts. Everything tasted amazing.
They are giving me too many details about this damn dinner. I could not give less of a shit. I swear to God. What? Why do I care that you had chicken and dessert and a salad? Okay. Who's going home? Do the song. Do the roar. This was such a bad idea. Why did I decide I wanted to do all of this in one day? Oh, yeah, they also get little Tiffany necklaces that have, like, the big E on them for them to wear with all their shit, because Elle wears it in the show, and I'm not good at explaining things anymore, but they get Tiffany necklaces. That's cute.
That's what I want to do. I want to be on stage. I want to perform like that.
When I was 19, I had the same dreams of being Broadway, and I thought the same way they did. That was like my main mistake, is that I think when I came here, I just thought that it's just totally gonna happen for me. And the truth of the matter is that it happens for very few people.
I really do feel for Autumn, like, genuinely, and I think that she is correct in what she's saying. You know, it isn't something that's just gonna happen for you and change your whole life, and it's gonna instantly happen, and then you're gonna get lasting success that follows you until the day that you die. She's correct, but it also does feel like in this moment, her saying this to them is not coming from a place of care, it's coming from a place of resentment. And I don't think that that's who she is as a person. I think that this is a very high-stress situation that's bringing up a lot of stuff for her, and that's why this is happening. But I don't think it's necessarily the time to be saying that to these young girls, at least not in this way. I think that there's a way to kind of be like, okay, let's temper our expectations without this.
I actually wasn't even nervous about the tapping because I know I can't do it.
She's so me. Oh my god. Hey, why even worry about something, you know, there's no chance in hell's ever gonna happen. I know that's right. I know that's right. I need to go to bed. This is getting unhinged and crazy and not even funny or coherent. What the fuck am I doing?
Yeah, it doesn't need to be a shuffle. It doesn't need to make any sounds at all.
Even if I just faked it.
Autumn, she worked really hard today, but I heard her say that she's just gonna fake it, and it's not always good to fake it. It's always good to try, because in the end, they're gonna want somebody that's gonna do it full out.
And I think that's true. Just because I am the same as Autumn when it comes to the dancing doesn't mean that I necessarily agree with her philosophies on things. I would try it, and then I would be like, if they want to choose me when it looks terrible, then that's great. If they don't want to choose me, I understand. I also think that faking it is probably not, and I also would not be saying that to the associate choreographer, who can go back and tell everyone who's judging this show that you are going to do that. That seems unwise.
I keep doing that now.
Lauren and Autumn keep doing things over and rehearsing, and it's like, okay, you've got it. Now just calm down and don't make everyone else nervous.
It's becoming more and more painful to watch these girls that you really care about start to get more and more competitive. You just see it in their eyes. You see the,
I would consider that a very uncharitable read on the situation. But that is kind of the thing that always happens on the show, so I don't know why I'm surprised. I don't think it's competitiveness. I think that they both know that they're not strong dancers, and this is a very dance-heavy challenge. And just because it comes very easily to you, and you're just like, I got it, doesn't mean that they're not going to be worried about it because of how much you're like, I got it. That's going to make them want to work even harder, because they're like, oh my god, she's going to do this perfectly, and I'm going to fuck up the whole thing, and then I'm gonna be standing there looking like an idiot, and she's already got it. She's not worried at all. But it is also valid that Rhiannon and Bailey are like, y'all are stressing me out. I need y'all to chill out a little bit. I think that that's valid too. I would also say though that y'all can't just go to a different room and not be in that one. And then everyone can do what they feel like is good for them and not disturb the other side that's doing the exact opposite with their own minds. I don't know. I'm sure the producers were like, no, y'all have to stay in here so you hate each other a little bit more by the time this is over. I'm sure that's what was going on. But I think you could just head on out, go to bed maybe, go chill out with the other person who's a good dancer in the other room. Let the two that are freaking out keep running around in circles. I say that lovingly. not meanly, I would also be a person running around like a chicken with my head cut off if I was in this situation, because I would be fucking the whole thing up, and they are both going to do 20 million times better than I would ever do. All right, the 4 auditions. Here's what you need to know. Rhiannon goes first.
What you want, or what you want is me. Because even a person who's smart can listen to their heart, can listen and believe. So believe in what love can achieve.
She gets out of breath by the end of it, and her singing struggles a little bit because of it. That's kind of her thing that happens at this point.
I love that the hat, because perfect little Bailey had to be sloppy.
It felt like you were making it your own, and it felt like I was seeing colors of you that I've not seen in weeks.
Bailey is next. When she goes to do the quick change, she has been given the wrong hat.
Oh, this is me. This is mine.
I go behind the little board, put the hat on, and notice when I put it on, it goes whoop, and falls down to here. I'm like, this is not my hat. So I take it off and look, and it says Lauren, and it's Lauren's hat. I'm like, oh no.
And that leads to it falling into her eyes every 3 seconds for the rest of the number. But honestly, this works out well for her because it shows that she can keep going even when something's going wrong, and it humanizes her to the judges because for some reason they view her as a perfect robot. I've never really understood what that critique was about.
I'm what you want, Harvard, I'm the girl for you. And to prove it's true, we all flew here on JetBlue, thank you.
I think Lauren did a fantastic job at this song, but their main critique is that she's young. Again, this is one of those things where I'm like, she has been young the whole time. This feels like she was never going to get the part, is what this feels like.
There was a moment in the improv section when she's like in her own world that you were kind of waiting for him to blow the whistle and walk up to you and you're watching him. I just felt like you were expecting the next moment.
That seems so minor to me, and like it could be fixed in about 30 seconds, but I don't want to spoil it for you, but also I do because I want this to be over. They send her home because she's 18 and anticipated a whistle. That's really all she did wrong. Be born the year she was born and make a mistake. Rhiannon was so out of breath by the end of it that there was no sustainability there, but God forbid you accidentally glance at a guy with a whistle before he blows the whistle. You know what I mean? I just think that's silly. Anyway, spoiler. You're gonna find out in 5 minutes anyway.
I'll meet you there at Harvard with a book in my hand. Big sturdy book, big wordy book, full of words I'll understand. And right there is where you'll see it too. Wonder what you want is right in front of you.
Autumn also does well. She's very proud of herself. I think she should be proud of herself too. There's probably a few moments that are not perfect, which the judges obviously point out, but they don't have nothing specifically negative to say about hers. All in all, these were all great auditions. It's kind of hit that point where no one's standing out as like flat, unless it's vocally flat, which was happening, in my opinion. The filter's gone, folks. I'm asleep with my eyes open right now. Woo! Woo! Woo!
Today's list is very different. There are no names on the list.
So there's just no list. So that just means there's no list. But God forbid we abandon this stupid fucking format at this part of the show and we just say everyone go down to the casting office so that they can talk to you. Or, honestly, they were all just sitting there 10 minutes ago. Why'd they leave? Just do it there. Just do it there. Will I forget if you don't? Will I forget that one of these people's gonna win this competition if you change it slightly? Because no one's told me in 45 seconds, so I might forget. I don't know. Help!
Girls, none of you have ever performed on Broadway. And the winner of this competition will not only perform on Broadway, will be a star.
Hey, just checking in, making sure that you still know that whoever wins this competition is going to be on Broadway. Just checking in. Hey, just checking in. Hey, I just want to make sure you remember that whoever wins this show is going to be on Broadway. Did you know that? I'm just I need to make sure you remember. It's very important that you know that whoever wins this is going to be on Broadway. So don't forget. Don't forget. Okay, they say the same thing that we've heard them say about each of these performers like 10 times each. They're pretty set in stone with who they are as performers at this point. It's getting very redundant. That was completely slurred together. I'm not saying it again. So the fact that Lauren is young is what does her in. She is eliminated. But the episode ends on a bit of a cliffhanger.
Jerry Mitchell, the director of Legally Blonde, only wants to see 2 girls in the final audition.
We find out that a second person is going to be eliminated right then, right there. But they cannot spare us having to sit through another recap of what's happened, and they must put it at the beginning of the last episode for suspense. You don't get to know right now. So I'm going to go to the bathroom because I have to pee again, and then we're going to do episode 8. And I'm gonna go the fuck to bed. Okay, here we are. It's time for the finale. It's almost over. I'm saying that just because it's late. This has been a very fun show to watch and chat with you about. Here's where we left off at the end of episode 7. I don't know why I'm acting like you need a refresher. It just happened. Lauren was eliminated. We have just Rhiannon, Bailey, and oh shit, Autumn. One of them is about to get eliminated right now to leave us with our final 2 as we go into this episode. Who will it be?
But our concerns about your voice are just too much. You're cut from the competition. We just don't see you as the next Elle Woods.
In a shock to no one, Rhiannon is the one who is eliminated, leaving Bailey and Autumn as the final 2. Going into a huge audition. 3 full songs at Palace Theater using the sets and the full orchestra from the musical, including all of the original cast. Annalee Ashford was not there. I looked really hard when I watched this earlier. She wasn't there. And Christian Borle never appears in this show one time. I have now mentioned Sutton Foster and Christian Borle in the same YouTube video, and that is drama. Now, right now, I am watching this on 2 times speed, but I will say earlier when I was only watching it on 1.5 speed, it really was hitting me in the feels when they both walk out on the stage of the Palace Theater together and they're like holding hands, they're just looking out at like all of those fucking levels that exist in Broadway theaters and how far up and back they go, and you can tell that it's really hitting them how real this is. That was very touching and very moving. And as someone who has always also wanted to be in this realm that they're in, it was very, honestly, it was a very bittersweet feeling, if I'm being open and honest and half zombified with you right now. It feels very like, oh God, that was also what I really wanted to do.
You'll be performing 3 numbers from Legally Blonde, the musical. Oh my God, you guys, positive and so much better.
So the 3 numbers that they're doing are the ones that they've kind of been working on throughout the show in different capacities. They're starting with the opening number, which is Oh My God, You Guys, fully choreographed, fully costumed. Then they're doing Positive, which is the song that has the Positively Time to Shake Your Junk hip-hop portion in it that they did a few weeks ago. And then they will be ending it with So Much Better, the Act 1 closer. That is an absolutely show-stopping number, very vocally difficult. I think it's good, honestly, because all 3 of these things have different challenges to them. Oh My God, You Guys is a very acting-heavy song. Positive is very dance-heavy. And So Much Better is, it's also very acting-heavy, but it's also a very challenging song to sing. So I think they're kind of hitting the 3 major things they're looking for. The issue is that both of these girls have strengths and weaknesses. I don't even know if I would say they have weaknesses at this point. They just have things that they excel at more than the other things. So Autumn is a much stronger singer than Bailey is. Honestly, not by like a huge margin, but enough for it to count. But Bailey is a much stronger dancer than Autumn, but also not by a huge margin. I mean, Autumn is passable. I don't know what I'm talking about when it comes to dance, so I'm not as comfortable making that judgment. They say that she seems to be stumbling through it a bit, and it's not very sharp, and I don't really know exactly what that means, but I believe them. I'm summarizing this a lot because it really is kind of all music, and I'm not playing it. So you're going to be seeing a lot of silent clips over me talking right now, and I'm so sorry about it, but also fucking deal. I don't know.
This is another one of those auditions where we have just an immense amount of material to learn.
You guys have any questions?
You
of the
just go-
performances that we just did? Yeah.
Here, learn it today and do it tomorrow. Perfectly. Go for it.
This is a lot to learn very quickly, especially with all those moving set pieces. It feels honestly like it might be a little bit unsafe, but like, what do I know? To only have like a day to learn the intricacies of like this huge ass moving staircase and not get your foot trapped under it, that seems a little scary, but you know, to each their own, I guess. Both of them have a very positive attitude throughout this whole thing, and you can really see why they are the final 2. They both seem very prepared and ready to do whatever they need to do. I admire both of them greatly, no matter who wins or loses. I do have a soft spot in my heart for Bailey, obviously, as she is from Anderson, South Carolina. I'm not gonna ever change that, so don't expect me to feel any differently.
I'm so ready for tomorrow. I'm just gonna think of it as just a fun performance.
A fun
chance
performance.
in a lifetime.
Exactly.
A Broadway star for a day. I'm not gonna overdo rehearsal tonight. I mean, come on now. There's no way that I couldn't get this. I mean, I embody Elle Woods 110%.
She does very much embody Elle Woods, I will say. Some things are a little innate. I don't think it makes up everything, but she has an edge just for that alone, unfortunately. I only say unfortunately for Autumn. It's very fortunate for her that that's the case. But there's a bit of conflict going on because Bailey is very much like, I'm not going to overdo this tonight. I'm going to just go into it tomorrow. And Autumn is rehearsing over and over and over again. There is such thing as over-rehearsing, though, and I think it's possible she could almost fall into that trap. She doesn't. She does very well in this final showcase. But I think she is kind of resentful of Bailey for not rehearsing the way that she's rehearsing. And that just seems like a bit of that projection, being upset with someone just because they're younger. I don't know. I think this is bringing up a lot of stuff for her of how she feels about like herself and her success and how hard she's worked. And I think that that's making her say a lot of snippy things about Bailey that are not exactly warranted. Is this camera crooked? I think it is. Yeah. All right, so it is the day of the final audition. I think I called it a showcase earlier. I think both things fit fine. Call it whatever you want. They are given their own dressing rooms for the day, which I think is very sweet. And they also are getting like a very fast fitting. The craziest thing that happens during this time is that, remember when they made them dye their hair and Autumn dyed her brown hair blonde? They still put her in a wig. What was the purpose? What was the purpose? Oh my fucking God.
This is your half-hour call.
All right, they are all ready. They are in hair and makeup. It is almost time for the final audition to begin. And then they get a knock on the door. And it's their parents. And I thought this was very sweet.
Oh my God!
Sorry.
And it made me really emotional. They get a minute to talk to them. They both are talking about how grateful they are for their parents and how they supported them. And it's just very lovely. It's a very lovely moment. Is that a Wii commercial? Holy shit. That is a commercial for Just Dance on the Wii. That's crazy. This came out in 2008, by the way. I think I said that 12 hours ago when I started this, but just in case I didn't, I'm going to throw it in at the very fucking end, too. The part where no one's still watching. Yeah.
Before we begin the auditions, I'd like to reintroduce you to your judges.
The fact that they still reintroduce the judges. Oh my God. We get it. Oh my God. As this has gone on and I've had to listen to it more and more times, I've gotten increasingly more angry about it.
And we have one additional very special judge for today. Tony Award winner and director and choreographer of Legally Blonde the musical, Jerry Mitchell.
Hi, girls.
The director's back. He really is bookending this thing. He showed up at the very beginning and he said, I like those 10. And then he dipped out and then he came back at the end and he said, I like that one. It's also, in my opinion, very evident who's going to win from the very first moment they start performing and he lays eyes on them. There's just this sparkle that happens that it's like, oh, that's who he's choosing. You know the second they start.
It's almost there, but this dress needs to seal the deal, make a grown man kneel, but it can't come right out and say bride, can't look like I'm desperate.
All right, I don't want to spoil it for you, but it's almost over. The second Bailey starts, Jerry Mitchell leans over to the Telsey guy and says, she looks like Elle Woods. Autumn, I'm so sorry. Autumn, it's over. Autumn, you're so talented, but like genuinely at the end of the day, what are you going to do about that? Literally nothing. You can't do anything about that. There's the look.
Hey, remember when we spent spring break in the hot tub every night?
The funniest thing that happens during this whole actual doing the audition bit, I'm sorry I'm not really showing you any of it, it's all music that I can't play, is that during So Much Better, there's this thing where Elle kind of moans. It's not real, it's like a pseudo moan, but they cut to their parents for both of them.
Oh, much better. Oh, much better. I am so much better. Hello, much better. It's much better. I am so.
Right after it happens, and I just thought that was diabolical of them. I've said diabolical too much in this video. I know.
This afternoon, you both did really brilliantly at times, and at other times I was incredibly disappointed. Because you're not there yet. Neither of you really are there yet.
Okay, now we have more judge commentary. If I told you that the commentary was that Bailey is a stronger dancer and Autumn is a stronger singer, would you believe me? I hope so, because we have heard them say it 30,000 times. That's the whole thing. That's the crux of their issue. They also say they don't know if they buy Autumn as a sorority girl necessarily, which I think she could very easily grow into, but I do see where that hesitation comes from. I think that's just Bailey selling that more because she has that much more bubbly Southern girl personality. I think, honestly, the fact that she's Southern is doing her a lot of favors. At the beginning, it was working against her because she had to cover up the accent, but once she got very used to that, it's doing her a lot of favors in the personality department. Listen, I would know. They don't call it Southern hospitality for nothing.
To be quite frank, I always had a bit of an eye on the two of you.
Heather, I don't know if that's true. I don't know. I feel like if I cut back, I'm probably not going to, But if I cut back to the first 3 episodes, I think you had really negative things to say about at least Bailey every time. And you're like, I don't know if she can do it. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, no, because you were the one who said that she looked like she couldn't go to Harvard, and I was like, isn't that the antithesis of this entire show that you wrote? Because it is, and I'll say that much more candidly now that it's 2:30 in the morning than I did at 4 p.m.
You have a very bad habit of schmacting.
I don't know what the fuck that means. I've never heard that term before in my life. I think he's about to explain it, but I just want you to know that that is not some kind of like common term that most people know. Never heard that said before in my life. Okay, explain to me, Jerry Mitchell, what's that mean?
You look out at the audience instead of looking at your scene partner.
Okay, yeah, that's true. No, she does do that. She definitely does that. I think that's just a being green thing. But, you know, part of that being green is what's kind of serving her here, because Elle is not a very traditional role. I don't feel like getting into that whole thing. I think we've talked about it enough. I think we've talked this show to death.
Bailey, your voice is good. It's not as good as Autumn's voice. Your dancing is better than Autumn's. Hers isn't as good as yours.
Oh my god, I've never heard anyone say that to either of them before. That's such new information that I'm learning. I'm so glad that this is still happening right now.
Autumn, Bailey, this is so difficult and so exciting at the same time.
Okay, it's time. They are up on stage, still in their so much better costumes. The so much better set is still up behind them. But now, Haley Duff is up there with them, and she is going to tell them who has won this competition. Oh my god, it's still written on a fucking piece of paper. Can't do it without the list. Gotta say somebody's on the list. If she doesn't say, you're on the list, she'll die. It's like Tinkerbell with claps, but it's Haley Duff with saying the phrase, you're on the list. Worst joke I've ever told. It's up there. Okay. Who is it? Haley, tell me. Tell me. It's supposed to be over. Tell me so I can be done. Tell me.
Bailey? Congratulations.
Oh my god. Your name is on the list.
You are Elle Woods on Broadway.
Yay! South Carolina. South Carolina. I don't support any of the politics of that state. Don't get it twisted. That's not what's happening. I try really hard to like where I'm from, and Henry McMaster and Lindsey Graham and Tim Scott make it very difficult, but I try really hard to like it. So I celebrate when other people from the state succeed. Let's all remember that Stephen Colbert is also from South Carolina. Does that make it better? Something, hold on, that was reminding me of something. Bohemia from Tick Tick Boom.
Showers in the kitchen, there might be some soap. Dishes in the sink, brush your teeth if you can cope.
I think I was kind of stealing that a little bit on accident. So sorry, Jonathan Larson. It was an accident. I looked up because he's dead. Anyway, what the fuck is happening? Bailey has won. That's very exciting. I'm so glad. What happened to all of these contestants after the fact? Where are they now? How many of them actually went on to perform on Broadway after this show? I'm not going to tell you right now. One, because I think there's a reunion that I found that I would like to do a video on. And also because if I keep talking into this microphone, I don't know what's going to happen. And none of this is usable anyway, so I'm not going to let it continue.
And now it's time for you to take your encore. Show us what you got.
They let Bailey do an encore, though, and her mom cries. And when I watched this earlier, when I was 25% more sane, I also cried a little bit.
Something right. Well, I feel so much better than before. I am so much better.
So yeah, that's the show. That's Legally Blonde, the musical, The Search for Elle Woods. Did we have a good time? I never know how to end these because I don't know what they're going to end up looking like when they're finished, because I just have memories of yapping, and this is like that, but times 1,000, because I did 8 fucking episodes of this in one day. Why did I? I didn't have to. That was a decision that I made. Anyway, let me lock in and finish this like a civilized human being. Shall I? I shall. I hope that this was an enjoyable video. I say hope very literally because I don't really know and I don't have a good memory of how this situation started. If you like this video, I hope you'll consider subscribing to my channel. Go ahead and also throw this video a like, share it, leave a comment. Any engagement is helpful and I appreciate it. And I try my best to respond to every comment. I don't know why I wouldn't be able to. There's like 3 on each video. Like that's some kind of chore. Whatever. I have an Instagram account if you want to follow me there. I post different performances that I do and also just random shit that's going on, and like a Muppet meme on my story probably once or twice or 5 or 7 times a week. I appreciate you truly. I have seen a pretty steady-ish amount of growth happening the past couple weeks. It's slow growth, but it's still growth, and I am incredibly thankful for you. I'm sure this video is so damn long, but also I just put a 4-hour video up and it's gotten the most views of anything on my channel besides something I made like almost 2 years ago. So maybe that's good that this is going to be long. Anyway, I'm rambling. It's 2:34 a.m. I'm going to go take my makeup off and go sleep for 4 hours so that I can get up and go to the grocery store. I love you all. I'm very thankful for you. I will see you next time. Bye-bye.